the Jacob Koutas show, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, of course,
honor.
dude. Yeah. So kicking it and screaming it, right? That's the mojo you're up to now?
Yep, that's the motto.
Yeah. So let's start with, dude, your soccer career is crazy, first of all.
Yeah,
so you got
journey.
a lot that's going on, a wild journey.
I have a unique journey compared to most, you could say.
So, okay, let's start with your youth club, though. Like, where did you start when you were a kid, like, getting into soccer? Was it your dad that got you into it? Like,
Yeah.
where does that origin story come from?
Yeah, so grew up playing like Park District, Mount Prospect. I grew up. So, yeah, I grew up there. My dad also was a soccer player growing up. So just kind of like by nature, you know, I was just always around it. So started playing Park District, Mount Prospect. And I want to say,
Did you play AYSO?
is that no? I just played Park District. I don't
District?
even know what it was
Ours
called.
was like AYSO was like, I forget, something Youth Soccer Association
I
or
have
something. Or
I couldn't even tell you. So I played there 1 or 2 years. I think when I was 8, my dad started a travel team in Wheeling.
Okay.
We were called Wheeling Wildcats. So that was like
Yeah.
FC or whatever. So I
Yeah.
played there, and then they were affiliated. There was like another team, same age group, whatever, and they rebranded to a team called FC Atletico. Small team based in Wheeling. But we had a lot of good players. So they basically were the team I played my whole youth career with. I had left in between. I went to Chicago Magic, FC1 Academy. So I was kind of like bouncing around because they were not a very big club, but.
Do they still have teams here today?
Yeah, that's where I was coaching before I came here.
Okay.
So like it's the son took over. So it's a small club in Wheeling, but the idea is right, like for the development.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I give most of my youth credit to. That really developed me. So yeah, I jumped around, played some other teams growing up. I guest played as well in like the bigger tournaments through the head coach of the club, the owner of the club, you could say.
Yeah.
He had connections, whatever. So I played like Disney Cup, Dallas Cup with like other clubs.
So you went to like Florida for these tournaments?
Yeah.
Okay, and how old were you when you went to these tournaments? Like 13, 14?
Yeah,
or
so I want to say I went U14 for Dallas Cup and Disney Cup.
Okay.
So I was, I guess, playing with those teams, but nothing serious, you know, just got invited through him. But basically, until I was U16 is when I played for an actual like academy team. I played for high school as well, Hersey.
Yeah.
And then it really started, I guess you could say, like when I was a U16. I went through the owner of the club, you could say. His name's Luis. So he's got a son who's also very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And he got like a lot of like recognition. He got, I think, 2 national team call-ups. So he was getting his name out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he couldn't he needed to join an academy to keep getting national team call-ups. So
Okay, so do you is that a requirement? You have to be like in an academy
Yeah.
team in order to be in the national team?
yeah, so then like a national pool. So he was like an exception. From what I know, I don't really know all the details. Maybe there were some other kids, but it's very uncommon to get called up to national team unless you're playing for like now MLS Next. Back then it was just DA Develop Academy. Same thing, they just rebranded.
Yeah.
So anyways, from what I know, he went to a few his dad was not gonna just throw him with the fire any like soccers. Like they wanted to see if it was a right fit for him, you know?
Yeah.
Because you know like all those teams wanted him, like Fire, Soccer's FC.
Yeah, I'm sure they're reaching out and asking him to come try out and play with them, and
so
you know how that all works.
yeah, especially with the national team stuff, he was very well known for our age group here. He's a great player. So his dad was like kind of seeing what was the best fit for him. So I believe he went to FC Wisconsin actually, all the way in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's
that
a
was
big
like
move.
Yeah, it was a better fit for him, I think, for his development, like the style of play or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, I don't know the timeline, how long he was there for, but I think he was there for like 1 season. And then, long story short, I don't really know how it came about, but he got a connection to an academy in San Diego called Nomads Academy. And they have a residency program.
That's sweet. So the residency programs, aren't those the ones that have the education tied to the soccer? Or is that not the same thing?
Kind of. So the way that this one was, to sum it up, they had like a house for the players.
Okay.
And then we did our school online. Like there was a school called San Diego Virtual. So like, I don't know, like the team manager or whatever would just set us up in school. Like obviously they enrolled us in like an online school. So it was really cool. But the way I got there,
high school or is that college?
high school.
High school.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that,
online high school.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Low key kind of nice.
That was amazing. So that's kind of like the reason I was telling you about Luis is kind of like he opened the door with like my club team to get in there. So he was a standout player. And then he was like doing very well at the Nomads Academy. And then I don't know how it came about if they asked like, so it's both Luis. Sorry, my friend,
Your friend Luis, and then
his dad is Luis. Yeah,
Luis
so they call
Jr.
Big Luis, Little Luis. So, anyways, they asked Big Luis if there's any other players from our club, and he recommended me. So I went there for trial, and everything worked out. I ended up staying. So I ended up moving there my second semester junior year.
Okay.
I think it was March. I joined a little bit late. So that's when my real like the journey really took off, I guess, because I like moved. So I moved away at 16.
Yeah.
Went to the residency. It was awesome. We trained. So there was about, I want to say in the house, the first year I was there, about 12 people.
Okay.
So it was like bunk beds, all that stuff, you know.
So that's not even a full team.
No, it wasn't a full team. So they had like local players in San Diego, but like just in the residency, whereas 12 of us. So there was like
So it's not necessarily a team. It's like an academy to build around players that can go play for separate teams.
No. So we were all there to play for Nomads Academy.
Okay.
But there was other players, like local players that lived in San Diego. So they lived with their families and stuff like that.
Okay.
So there was U16 and U18 at that time. So when I was in the house, I was a U16 the first time. There's about like 4 or 5 of us. So the way they would do it was in the mornings, we would train only the people in the house because everyone else that like were like local San Diego people, whatever, they went to normal school.
Yeah.
So us in the residency house, we did our school online. We went to the site every Wednesday, just there all day doing hours.
Wow.
So it was really easy because you just basically get like assignments. They're like, all right, these are due at the end of the week, or no, sorry, like at the end of the semester. I feel like so there was like you could just like
do them quick or do them later.
Yeah, you could like you don't have to do any work all week unless you want to, you know.
And then when you get the motivation, you're like, all right, I'll do like half the assignments for this month, and then
literally
I'll do them in one weekend, and then I'll just chill for the rest of the week.
Bro, it was crazy. So basically, I never did any school only on Wednesdays because we'd go to the site.
Okay.
And it's just like a big class, not even a classroom. It's like a building. It's like a weird, and they had like our teachers there, but we'd be there for like 7 hours. So the amount of online school you can do in 7 hours, like cheating and stuff, like there's like websites, you know. So we got so much done for like going to school once a week essentially. So the other days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we trained in the morning, like us in the residency, and then the actual team, like the full organization, U16 for me, we train in the afternoons. So basically for the residency, you're getting like basically 2 trainings a day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, and it's like it's a free residency, or at least for most people. I don't know if
it's an academy, right?
Yeah, it's an academy, but a lot of academies like now MLS Next, like Soccer's FC, a lot of players have to pay.
Yeah.
So
I heard that Soccer's is one of the only places that you have to pay.
Yeah, I mean a lot of academies you have to pay, but some of them have like scholarships.
Okay.
So like maybe like I don't know how it works if it's like they have like let's just say $80,000 or $50,000 and you can give it to like between 5 kids, or you can spread it out evenly
across the whole
so
team.
Someone pays a little bit or someone gets free. So it was one of those things.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was playing out there. And then it was great. I was like, it was the highest level of youth soccer, and I was playing like local club and stuff. I went to a few big tournaments, but I was used to playing like just like local club, so and like high school.
Right.
So it was a big difference, but it was good. Like in that environment, you just grew and stuff. And it's like this is kind of like a taste of like being a pro, what it takes.
Yeah.
Being surrounded with like a lot of other good players too, and
was there like a professional team associated with this at all? Like were they on the pitch with you? Were they training with you? Were they in the morning trainings, or was it just afternoon trainings?
So
what team would that be?
Yeah, so they were affiliated with Cholos de Tijuana, a Liga MX team.
Okay.
So San Diego and Tijuana are like right next to each other. So what happened was there were some players. There was like a rule in Mexico you can't sign unless you're like 18, like even with the youth. I don't know if that's still true.
I think it's true because of the child labor laws in U.S.
Yeah, so there was something that happened. But there's I don't know how the affiliation started, but basically like the Cholos were affiliated with this club Nomads, and they would send like their coaches over to like they would train us in the mornings a lot. Not every morning, but like at least twice a week they'd be there. And a lot of the kids, like Mexican Americans, they couldn't like stay there in Mexico anymore for whatever. So they would like sent them kind of like you can't sign the Cholos till you're 18. With like the U20s or whatever it may be. So go play for Nomads and we'll keep an eye on you. So it was an affiliation with like that. So after that my U16 season, I want to say like 5 or 6 guys ended up signing with Cholos. But they signed with the U20s.
Yeah, but you're still signing with the professional team. You're still getting that exposure and that training ground.
Exactly.
As well.
So they're playing with like a lot of them. Out of the 5 or 6, I think, Yeah, they all sign with the U20s, but if you're signed with the U20s, you can still debut with the first team. Train with the first team. I think at the time too, they had a second team too, so they were like basically eligible to play for 3 teams, like U20, so whatever. So a lot of them went there, and then for me, what happened was I broke my sesamoid bone, I think it's called, and like tore ligaments in my foot. So I got surgery.
When did that happen?
That actually happened like right before I went to San Diego. I didn't know what I had, so I went there. I went there injured, but I was kind of like one of those things you can play through it. It's kind of like a turf toe, similar. So you can play through it, but I was like in a lot of pain. And then when I got home, I like got an MRI and stuff, and I ended up like it was like a broken bone and stuff like that. So it required surgery. So after that, I got surgery, and I couldn't go play it because that was going to be leading into my senior year.
Yeah.
So I got surgery August 8th of 2016. So I actually re-enrolled back at Hersey. So I went there for 1 semester senior year, recovered, and went back to Nomads. So went there, finished the season out. They were not affiliated with Cholos the second year, I don't think, because we like, I don't know if they are now. But when I was there, the affiliation kind of separated a little bit, not fully, but it was a little bit.
So it wasn't really their like youth club. It was more just a, hey, we'll kind of rub your back, you rub ours.
Yeah,
we'll
kind
give you
of.
Players, you'll give you attention.
Exactly.
Like, okay.
So they were affiliated in a way because they still had sent a few players to us more, but they weren't at the trainings as much. It just wasn't as involved. But no, I was out there. So for another second semester, so I was there for about 5 months.
What year was this when you went back after your senior year?
2017 January.
Okay.
January 2017. So finished that. So then season ended, and then I was gonna go into my quote unquote freshman year of college, right? So I didn't have too many college offers that I like wanted, and I always had my German passport because my mom's from Germany.
Okay.
And my goal was always to go pro. So after that, I was like, I want to go pro. I don't want to go to school because I hated school, and I didn't really have any good offers or anything like that. So I basically took a gap year to like try to go pro and stuff, but I didn't know like what it took. And like my dad played too, so he thought it was a little, back when he played, it was a little easier, I guess, if you know someone, you're like connection this. But there's like so much more to go into it. So I took a gap year, and I did I went to a trial called Sueño Alianza.
Where's that at?
That was here in Chicago. It's like a free tryout. They have it's like they have a few MLS teams and like Liga MX teams there. They go to about 20 major cities per year. And they have like a U16, U19, U22 at the time. Now they changed all the rules and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, you go there, you sign up, and then when I went to the one in Chicago, there's like 700 people, and you're just kind of waiting all day. Like they write your name down. You're with this category, whatever,
this
and
group,
then this group, and then you play. And the way they would do it is like they're scouts there watching. They like mark your name. They call you at the end of the first day. They're like, all right, for the U16 the state team they had, you're gonna come back the next day to go play against the Fire Academy or whatever. So the year I did, I was a U19, so I got invited back for the state team. And then after that, like the Sunday, because it was Saturday and Sunday, and then Sunday they have like a big ceremony, like of all the people that made like the state team. So it's figure like 60 people there, and they usually pick between 1 and 3 players per age group to go to the national event. So they only like call up one per age group. But then, so I didn't get called up, so I was like, all right, whatever. Like I had a good showing, and then one of the guys that runs it was like, I had the number 10, so like number 10, I don't know what other number 8 and like 12, whatever. Come talk to me after. So I went to go talk to them, and they're like, hey, you're most likely gonna get you're like in our pool to get like selected to go to the national event, but we're still need to go to the other major cities and kind of see. So I'm like, all right, and then I want to say around October time. They contacted me and was like they had like the announcement on TV on Telemundo. So you kind of had a feeling he was like, hey, there's a good chance you're gonna get picked.
Yeah.
Watch Telemundo tonight, whatever. They're gonna have like the roster and then like record your reaction and stuff like that. So
that's kind of like a draft-ish.
Kinda-ish, yeah. A draft to like the national, like it's just an event.
Right.
So yeah. So I recorded it. I had a feeling. So then I got drafted, if you want to call it, and I went to the national event.
How was your reaction? Was it good? Was it?
Yeah, I was excited.
Were you freaked out?
Yeah,
you and go crazy.
Yeah, because like I don't. Yeah, it was like it seemed like a pretty big deal at the time. So I got drafted, if you want to call it that. So I went there, and then like leading up to this, because this was like my gap year technically. So I was playing like just random men's leagues. I was playing like Schwaben.
Yeah.
You know Schwaben's men's team? They were training like twice a week, maybe once a week, playing with them on the weekends. So I'm not really getting that development as like people that I went to college to do it because I'm not gonna
every day in the mornings and afternoons.
Yeah, so I was like, damn, like am I like luckily I had that to look forward to. So I was training on my own, going to the gym, staying fit. I wasn't even enrolled in like a JUCO or anything. I was like just everything to soccer. I wasn't working, like just focused on soccer and stuff like that. So then I went to that event and it was cool. Like they fly you out. So they flew us out, hotel, like 5-star hotels, a really cool experience setup. They basically have like we did a lot of inter-squad games with like all the scouts there and stuff. Okay. And then we played against like Galaxy Academy and then like another academy from California. It wasn't an MLS academy, but whatever. So we played there. And then at the last day, they have like a big ceremony. And then there's like all the scouts there. People are sitting down and like they call your name up and you get like invited to like a trial. So I got invited to go to Necaxa, Liga MX team. So, yeah, at the end, like the scout, they call you up and you get like a scarf. And it's pretty cool. It's like on Telemundo, so it's a really, really cool event.
Is it like a big thing on Telemundo where like people are like a lot of people are watching this from Mexico or US? Or?
More I feel like I feel like because like for me, I would only watch that event if it's like someone I know is at the national event or whatever. Like if I'm just curious, I'm not really gonna pay attention to it.
Okay.
But it was cool for sure. And then I ended up going they flew us back home and then I ended up going to Mexico, Necaxa.
Okay.
And I was there. It was basically just like a 2-week trial with like the U20s. So at the beginning, they put you up in like the team housing and everything like that. So I'm like living like the experience as a pro. Mm-hmm. And I was like the only American there, only white guy there.
So did you speak any Spanish?
I mean, a little bit.
I have no idea what anyone was saying.
Yeah, I spoke a little bit because growing up, I always played for like the team in Wheeling. It was all Hispanic. I was like always like one of the two only white guys there. And
the one or two white guys. Yeah, there's always that team, man.
Literally.
It's the best.
So
it's the best.
That and then like in school, speaking Spanish. And at Nomads, there's a lot of Hispanics too. So you pick things up, but I definitely was not fluent. And then I go there, and then, I mean, it's a culture shock at first too. Like just like the living situation, like the professional environment, but great experience. Long story short, I didn't sign.
Okay.
I mean, it was really difficult though. So it was a great experience though. And then after that, came back home. It's kind of like, all right, what's next? Like, I was still young enough. I could have still played like academy. So I was thinking about going maybe back to Nomads. So it'd be like my gap, like to maybe get like a better scholarship, go to school, whatever. And then I got through Luis. I didn't mention this. He also took a gap year.
Okay.
He was trying to go pro as well. He didn't know what he wanted to do.
Was he doing the same year as you were?
Yeah, he's the same year as me.
Did you guys link up and do trainings together? Or?
Yeah, I didn't mention that. We did train together, but during that time when I was at doing the Alianza thing, he signed for Portland Timbers Academy. So he was playing in Portland.
So he was getting that development during Portland Timbers Academy.
Yeah, so he was playing with them, I think like in that time frame. And then, long story short, it just wasn't really a good fit for him. Yeah. He wasn't playing much. Like you know how it is.
That's tough sometimes. I mean, like you get to a team, you attack the team. You're like, I'm playing well, I'm practicing well, and then you just sit on the bench for 90 minutes. And then you just every single time you're just like, and then your mental goes like down, and you're just like
ups and downs.
Like, let me just play on like some team anywhere, just so I can get some like in-game minutes, because in-game minutes are totally different than any training you can get anywhere. Yeah, that initial reaction, that timing, that fitness, that pace.
It's different.
It's you can't train that. It's
exactly.
Hard.
And hard. Like the thing for him too was it was also his gap year, so we're trying to like we need to go somewhere we're gonna play to get like a college scholarship, right? So like. If he's going there taking his gap year, he can't go to a team and afford to just sit on the bench and stuff. Maybe if he would have like stuck it out a little bit longer, things could have changed. But a little impatient maybe, or maybe it was for the best. You never know. So he left, and then his dad was really good about like looking for opportunities. Long story short, we did like one of those. You see, like they have like these like tour things in Europe.
Yeah.
So we went to one in Portugal, and like they do cost money, but his dad was very good about like negotiating and stuff. Like. Yeah. So he kind of like got us in. So we went to Portugal. Mm-hmm. Did kind of like a tour thing for like a week.
Yeah, I did this. I did one in Croatia. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did it with Danny, right? Yeah. So it's similar in a way. So we did that. It was pretty cool. We ended up together. We went to like a 4th or 5th tier team on trial.
Okay.
I mean, it's a cool like experience and stuff too. But like realistically, they were not going to pay for housing. There's no money, no budget.
There's not a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I had my German passport. I was able to stay for like
you can stay for longer because you have an EU passport.
Exactly.
You can live there technically.
Exactly. So he couldn't. So it was just never going to work out. And like they were never going to like be able to afford, like my dad would have to pay a lot of money to get my apartment. Just like it wasn't really worth it, you know?
Yeah, money-wise.
Yeah, it was just, it's tough. And
Did you not think about, like, picking up a job and just, like, moving out there and staying out there?
Yeah, it was tough. We were, like, 18 at the time, too. So it was just, like, a lot. So we ended up going to, while we were there, Big Luis also found another combine thing in Latvia. I didn't even know where that was a country.
Latvia?
It's, like, right by Russia. So this is, like, all happening, like, during the gap year. So we're in Portugal one day, and it's, like, we're obviously not going to stay there and sign. So, like, are we going to come back to the U.S. or we're in Europe? Like, let's see. His dad was acting like an agent, hitting up these other agency tour things. Mm-hmm. He got us, like, an insane deal to go on this tour thing in Latvia. Like, so random. And then...
Is that Eastern or Western Russia?
It's, like...
Western, right?
Yeah. It's, like, really close to Ukraine, Estonia.
Yeah, so Western, southwest Russia. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a really small country. Didn't even know anything about it. So, like, we ended up going there. And then before the showcase, since we were, like, already there, he was talking to the guy. We got to do preseason with a first-tier team out there. They compete in, like, Champions League and stuff like that. FK Spartak, I think it was called.
FK Spartak, yeah, I know the team.
Yeah, so it's like
I know that team, yeah.
Yeah, so we were training with them, and then, like, we were training with them for, like, a week about, and then the tour was going to start, and then they, like, called us for the tour, and I told the guy, I was like, isn't, like, the whole idea of the tour to, like, get an opportunity like this? Like, why don't we just stay? But I guess they didn't want us. Okay. Or, like, yeah, I don't know. I think they're just...
Yeah, sometimes...
Yeah.
Like, and also, sometimes it goes with, like, against the rules of, like, the amount of numbers they have on their team, too.
Yeah.
Because if they have too many people and they have already signed everybody, they can't add another one just to add another one.
Yeah.
Because it's just you have max roster.
Yeah, of course.
And the international players as well. Luckily for you, you have your EU passport.
Yeah, helps a lot.
So for people who don't have an EU passport,
yeah,
and you try to go into a team in Europe, you're taking an international spot.
It's so hard
because they have to have a certain percentage of domestic players, and the domestic players is EU passport.
Yeah,
so anywhere in EU, and it's crazy because if you have that EU passport, teams will love you so much more because they keep the international spots for those crazy Brazilians and like the crazy like South Americans, or like even like someone like Alphonso Davies from Canada. Like they can keep those areas, and then they can have, say for instance, Alphonso Davies lives there for so long, and then he gets an actual like passport for the EU, and then he transfers from international player to like domestic, an EU player, domestic player, and then they can bring on another player from Brazil, so that they can like so it's just like a repeating cycle. But yeah, you having that was probably a big benefit.
Oh yeah.
But it's again, it's so tough because sometimes they just don't have the roster space. Yeah. Even if you do have an EU passport.
Exactly.
And they're like, we want you. We have everybody signed already. Yeah. We can't. There's nothing we can do.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know? And like realistically, like thinking back, I was 18. I had no pro experience. Like I played like, you know, academy or whatever. But like those players were very good. And it's like first tier, you know, they're competing for Champions League, and like you're just like, but like when you're playing in that environment, you're like, oh, I can hang with them. But there's a lot of other factors, like a lot of them have like league minimums and stuff, or like they're going to pay so much money for a kid with no experience. Like there's so many factors, and like in the moment, I was like, yo, like what the heck? Like we're already here training, but I think it was already like from the beginning, like let them train with you for a week. They're already in the area. It's gonna like I don't know if they promoted it on like their tour, like. Oh, 2 players are trialing with the first. Like it could have been like in a.
It could have been like a marketing or
exactly
something so, like where they put out that they're doing like first team training.
Exactly.
And, they're getting that exposure and being like, hey, like if you want to come train with the first team, like come with us, and they can bring more people in.
Exactly.
And more people to pay money for them, basically.
Yeah. So it was one of those things, and then we ended up going to the tour, and it was cool. Like we were there for like 12 days. We played like 8 games. Okay. But like they had so many players games. Yeah, but everyone played about half. Like the most I played in each game was 45. I played every game 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
there were rotations and stuff like that. So it was cool, but ultimately nothing came from it. So I was like, all right, I came back home, and I was like, I need to join it. I need to join an academy. I need to finish out the season. Like there was probably like this was like February of 2018. So I was like, I need to join an academy. So Big Luis was like either back to Nomads, and he was like sending my like film and like reaching out to other academies. He got in FC United as well here locally, but they had all their scholarship money already, so I was gonna have to pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
So like let's just see our options, like what's a good fit for me. So I think residency at Nomads was full at that point. So I was between Golden State, I think it was called, and it's located in San Bernardino, California, I believe.
Okay.
It's Golden State Academy. They were playing in the D8 Development Academy. And then Colorado Rapids, they were interested. So I was like, yo, like that's MLS Academy. I want to go there.
Yeah.
So Golden State seemed a little bit more interested. But I was like, I want to go try MLS Academy and stuff. Because Fire couldn't get in. Fire did not want me. Like I was like he was trying to like kind of act as an agent, like let him. He's local, let him come train, see what you think. If you don't like him, it's fine. But they were just kind of like no. So long story short, I ended up going to Colorado Rapids, trialed for a week, and then they signed me. So I was the U19s at the time. Mm-hmm. Luckily, they actually didn't have residency, but they have like host families. But lucky for me, my cousin lived in Denver, so it was like perfect. Like
so you crashed with him basically.
Yeah, I lived with him for like the first month, but yeah, so I signed with the Rapids, and it looked really promising at first. So they actually needed a left back, and you know me, I usually play a winger or a 9. Like I'm typically anywhere in the front 3, but I was playing like at Nomads a few games. We did like a 4-4-2, so I played left mid, actually a few games left back. So I was like, you know what, like
try it out.
Yeah, let me do it.
A lot of players that play outside wing actually convert to outside backs because you can just go up, and the way the style of the manager is, you can really just basically turn that person into a winger.
Exactly.
You really could.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what, like let me go. So I had a really good trial. It was just training, like regular team training, and then I was with the U19s, and then we played a scrimmage match against the U17s. This is like my trial match. Mm-hmm. And like our team was so much, so you know how it is, like playing as an outside back when your team is like dominating, it's so easy because I get the ball a lot. Yeah. I'm flying up the wing, I'm getting cross-setting, cutting in, shooting and stuff, and then like that was good enough to get signed. So it was awesome. I signed with the Rapids Academy. So the goal was to like, you know, finish the season out. And I mean, at the time there was no U23 team, or they had a U23, it was like PDL.
Okay. Yeah, but there's no U23 academy.
DA. Yeah, it's like,
or MLS Next wasn't existing.
Yeah, so it was just like the U19 academy. That's like basically how MLS Next is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was no MLS Next Pro. They have the MLS Next Pro now.
When did that start? 2021?
I think 2021. So this is 2017, 2018 season. This is 2018 March. Okay. So then I signed with them. So the goal is like, you know, to do well and then hopefully get a college scholarship, or like, you know, dream and hopefully go with the first team. You know, that'd be awesome. Yeah. So you had a lot of players that play with me that would train with the first team. They quite often they get called up and stuff. So it's like, you know, it's there. You know, it's just a possibility. So, anyways, we're there training, and my first game we play FC Dallas, and I was playing. I actually didn't start. I came in off the bench, and we were down, I think 2-1 when I came, or 1-1 or something, but he knew I was more attacking. Yeah. But oh my God, dude, we went against this. I don't remember what his name was. He's got to be on the first team now. He cooked me down the wing.
Oh no.
He was just like at that age, I mean,
he was just that cracked at that age.
He was just so faster than me. Yeah. He was just faster and stronger, so he just pushed it down the line, burnt me, and crossed it, and they scored. And this was like 3 to 4 minutes into my like debut, and I'm like, no, I got cooked. Yeah. And then after that, like I didn't really do anything good or bad. I was just playing like I passed it. We were attacking a lot, but he took me a few times, but nothing came from it, just that one. Mm-hmm. And then after the game, I remember like the coach was not happy. I'm like, what do you expect? Like, now it was tough. Then your confidence drops, and then I wasn't starting or anything like that. The other games and like barely playing, and then like he moved me back to the wing, and I played more as a winger, not as a 9, but just like a left or right winger. And I started like one game. I was there for about the last 10 games of the season. And then I finally started. I was doing decent. I got a staph infection in my foot.
Staph infection?
Staph. So it's like a blood. So it's so nasty. So we played against Houston Dynamo in Houston. Okay. And like after the game, I'm like, I have blisters on my feet, but I'm walking on the turf like barefoot. Long story short, like I got infected, the blister, and it's like really painful. So it was like on the outside of my foot here, and it was just like it's like a blood infection essentially. Okay. And it was just like super painful, and it was like really infected, my foot. And then like you just couldn't play. Like I could like not walk, like no exaggeration. Like the trainers like, this is bad. Like what I saw was like on so many antibiotics, like just like, like what else could go wrong? So I missed like 3 games right there.
That's tough.
So it was like
so you walked on the field barefoot with blisters.
With blisters, but they were like open.
What
like
caused it?
Yeah, so the blister was already. That's what they think, is the blister was already open. So it was like kind of exposed. It was like kind of like a like so like
always
an open
put
wound.
Your socks and shoes back on before you walk.
I'll never walk on turf barefoot again, because that's what they think. That's what the trainer thing happened. Like the turf was super like dirty and stuff, and the blister was like popped open, kind of like a open wound, and that's what they think happened.
Yeah. So always wear socks and shoes
slides.
Without going on turf. Yeah. You don't want no blisters getting infected. That's crazy. How long were you out for then?
Probably like 2 to 3 weeks. So you missed like
2 or 3 weeks because you walked across the field barefoot.
Yeah, so stupid.
That's tough.
So stupid. So that's what they think happened. I mean, that's the only thing that could have like infected. You know? So I missed like 3 games. I'm already like down the pecking order, and then that happens. So it's like I'm not really playing much. So the dream of the first team is like out the door, and then like then you're pushing for like college scholarships and stuff like that, and you're not really playing like.
I mean, you've already built up a pretty good resume.
Yeah, so that helps because like just being on that roster, MLS academy roster, helps a lot. And, like, I had some film. I played some games, don't get me wrong, but it's not, like, what I envisioned for myself.
Right.
And I just kind of, like, I didn't, like, make the most of opportunity, in my opinion. I kind of, like, signed with them. I was like, yo, I'm playing MLS. Like, I was like, oh, I'm.
You think, you just playing for them was enough.
Yeah. And,
but, then you got to, really grind.
Yeah, it's a lot. And there were so many good players on that team. Like, top of my head, like, names that, you know Cole Bassett? Or no, he's on the national. He had a few national team appearances. He was on my team. Another one, Ali. I'm butchering his last name. Is like Ali Lazar or whatever.
Lazar, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah, he's on the first team as well. Those two. The best player I ever played with, his name is Matt Hudley. Hudley.
I don't know who that is.
He was on the first team as well, the youth national team. I don't even know if he's currently playing, but he was so good. Then you have another one, Enoch. I can't pronounce his last name, but he went to Sporting Kansas City. USL Championship player. Other winger I was competing with, his name was Sammy. I can't pronounce his last name, but he's playing D1. He was at Cal State Fullerton, Dayton, and now he's at a team here in Illinois. Evansville. I don't know.
Evansville, maybe?
I don't know. It's a D1 though. He's doing really well. He's a good player.
I don't remember all the D1s in Illinois.
Yeah. So it's like a small one, but he's very good. So you're competing with a lot of players that are like played. Basically, a lot of them are going like D1 or like playing pro. So it was like we had a very good team, to be fair. So, yeah, just being in that environment helps you, but you need to be playing to get like the
you need to perform too. I mean, it's a performance based sport.
Yeah,
it's just like any career.
Literally,
it's performance based. You got if you're gonna make more money, it's performance based. If you don't knock it out of the park, you're not gonna get paid as much or get enough raise.
Literally,
and for you, it's kind of like, okay, if you don't play as well, then you're not going to get enough playing time. And that playing time is basically you getting paid.
Yeah,
because you're getting more experience. Yeah. So, like, do you think you got over all of that, like, coaching hurdles and all, like, the mental stress that kind of went with it? Do you think you got over that at some point?
Yeah, because, honestly, towards the end of the season, he gave me a start. So, he gave me a start and I had a pretty good game. Not, like, a great game, but then, like, he literally just – because with soccer, it's, like, ups and downs. Like, you can have one good training and be flying. Yeah. And then, like, one bad training, you're, like, back down. Especially if you're not, like, a consistent starter. Like, the training stuff mean a lot. So he gave me a start. And I think we tied that game against Sporting Kansas City. But I did well. And then after the game, it was, like, that was our last game before, like, playoffs started.
Okay.
And then he, like, gave me confidence. Like, keep playing like that. Keep training like that. Like, you're going to get, like I'm going to use you more. Like, I don't know, just, like, good conversation.
It's a good conversation.
Yeah.
It's a good conversation booster.
So I was, like, pretty confident. My confidence was definitely going up. And then the coach got fired.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
That can change everything.
Yeah, then the assistant coach came in and he did not like me. I knew from the beginning he just didn't like me, and that's just part of the game,
Yeah.
So I went to playoffs, didn't play a single minute. We actually got like upset. We lost all 3 games. We played against Portland Timbers, Philadelphia Union, and then Shattuck, St. Mary's, whatever. And we were like at the time we were ranked like, gotta say top 10 in the nation. And in the playoffs, we were like, I think the highest seed. We lost every game.
Wow.
So it was bad. I didn't play any minutes. So
do you think that was the coaching, or do you think it was like the positioning, or the players playing? Or?
I don't know. I don't think maybe you could say the coaching because he was a new the assistant, but he's not a bad coach either. Just like I don't really remember how the games really went, but I want to say we lost the first one 2-1. Philadelphia, that was against Timbers. We should have a tie would have been fair. But we ended up losing 2-1. Philadelphia Union was the best academy. I didn't play, but that was the best team that I saw. They were good. They beat us, I want to say 3-1. I think Mark McKenzie played that game. I think he's another national team player.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but
the name doesn't sound familiar, national team players.
Yeah. I think he's a center back. I think he's in Europe right now. I don't know, maybe. I got to look it up after, but
I'm not a center back fan.
Yeah, so that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I think he was there, so they had a good team. And then Shattuck St. Mary was not very good, but just one of those games like they got the best
game.
Yeah, we were like that was like a real big upset. But
you win 9 times out of 10. Sometimes there's that 1 out of 10 game. It happens.
So that happened, and then so after that, obviously like there's no real good college like stuff that came from it. I was talking to a few schools like Liscum was one of the schools there in Tennessee.
Okay.
Big Luis at the time too. He got me like talking to like Eastern. think it was Eastern Illinois.
Okay.
And then I was talking to like other like D2.
Did you not think about going to Northwestern? Did you look into that at all?
Oh no, yeah, I didn't have the grades and stuff like that. And that's another thing that didn't help. My grades were not very good. Okay. What I should have been doing.
Was it in high school grades? High school online grades?
Yeah. So I mean, I passed, but like Hersey and stuff, I just wasn't a good student.
Yeah.
So what I should have done during my gap year is like went to Harper or like a local, like online. Yeah. Did my school online. That would have helped tremendously. So it was looking like I was gonna go to a JUCO.
Okay.
And like just be like, you know what, like I'm just gonna go to junior college, get my grades, and then just try to transfer to D1 or whatever,
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking like. But I had my German passport, had some connects in Germany, and then like I got an opportunity to go to Germany. So I went there. So from Colorado Rapids, came home in the summer, trying to figure everything out, ended up going to Germany in August.
So that was 2018?
Still 2018, August. So August 2018, I went to Germany, went on trial with the 5th tier team in Bavaria they're called Anspa, that's the name of the town. So I went there, and I was there for about 3 weeks, and I signed. So it was great. Like, it was 5th tier.
That is sweet.
Yeah, 5th tier is not considered professional, but the level's really high.
Yeah.
We train like 4 times a week. Players get paid. They help with my housing and stuff like that. So it was really cool environment.
How was that first day when you signed your official, I guess, semi-pro
contract?
Yeah, because
it's not a pro contract, but it was cool just to be part of the like organization of the team and stuff. And I only got paid like in bonuses and stuff like that. It's like, I want to say like for appearance, I don't even remember. It was like, I think if you win and you play, it's like 80 euros.
Yeah.
And something like that. It was like 40 euros if like you win, but you're on, even if you don't play, whatever. Yeah. There was like stuff like that.
And so a lot of that is what the lower tiers are, and it also goes into the higher tiers too.
Yeah.
So I told this story to all the kids that I used to coach.
Yeah.
Because it's very true. So there was basically one team that said, if you got like a header clearance, you get like $100.
It's insane.
And like you get like a block shot, you get $100.
Yeah.
So like every single person that went on that field was like, I'm gonna block a shot.
Yeah.
So a little side story. Side story. I went, it's incentive. It's everything is great.
Yeah.
I basically told the kids about these stories, and they're like, why don't you do that with us? And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So what I did was I was like, okay, if you get a block shot, you get a starburst.
Oh yeah.
So honestly, and I'm not gonna give kids money.
Of course,
there's definitely something wrong with that, either morally or like something with the government or taxes or like child labor laws or something.
Yeah, that's
giving
funny.
a 9-year-old $1. Yeah. But I was like, I can give him a starburst.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Who cares? Like I'm their coach, for fun. So like they got block shots, and all of these kids were like, I want to play defense. I'm gonna block the shots. Like put me in there. I'll block every shot.
Yeah.
And they like I sub them out, and they'll come up to me. They're like, where's my starburst? I blocked that shot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Hey, that's a good idea though, because kids don't like to defend.
No.
When I don't like to defend still. I want to just score goals, especially at that age, even less. Just want to score goals. But like stuff like that's actually really good.
Yeah, the incentive to do that with like just anything is just like, hey, what's the reward for me doing this? Well, I get like a little treat out of it.
Yeah,
and
literally.
for like older guys, it's like I get, money out of it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that a lot of different philosophies is like it could be money that motivates you, but it could also be playing time. So Hansi Flick, when he came into Barcelona, Xavi's method was, if you show up late to a meeting, you get fined. You get slam fine. Here's money. You pay us money. You get fined. Hansi Flick comes in, you show up late, you don't play.
Yeah, he did that with, who did he do that with? Didn't that happen to one of the
Pedri maybe, or
Jules Koundé, I think.
Jules Koundé,
I think
it was
yeah.
So like you got to figure out like what reward the kids or the players or whomever want.
Yeah.
Because it's like in the end they're there for something.
Yeah.
They're not there to just like mess around and do nothing.
Yeah.
They're either there to make a lot of money for their family, and like they don't want to pay fines, they don't want to like lose any money, or they want to make more money and get more incentives, or they just want like a little reward like a starburst, or they want the reward of just playing the game, which is awesome. So it's crazy. So it's nuts that you get the incentives for bonuses for playing. But that's cool that you still played. So like how did that contract then go through? So you signed the first week, you're like, yo, this is crazy, I'm signed. Tell your families, tell everything. And then it's like, where does it go from there?
So I signed after about 3 weeks I signed with them, and then it was going good. I was getting rostered for like so they had a second team as well.
Okay.
So I was getting rostered for all the first team games but never playing, and I was like, I was doing good at training but I never played, never debuted. And then I was playing with the second team. So the way they did it was like most of the time it was like first team plays Saturday, second team plays Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the first team games, roster, travel, whatever, never wouldn't play. But I get my games like the 90 minutes or 70 plus on with the second team, which was fine. The level wasn't very good with the second team. I don't even know what league they played, maybe 7th tier, 8th tier even. So it was a huge drop off. But like I'm there to play, so whatever. I'll just go there, play, get fitness, whatever, get some touches. So that's what I was doing for a while. And then the first team we had like a friendly game. It wasn't a cup game. It was like a friendly game against I think it was Würzburg Kickers is the name. At the time, they were in the second Bundesliga.
Wow.
So they smacked us like 6-0. But I debuted with the first team. It was a friendly game.
Yeah.
So I played maybe like 20, 30 minutes.
That's probably why they kept you on the bench, though.
Yeah.
For like big losses or big wins.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
if they're up 4-5-0, they're going to be like, all right, let's go.
Literally.
Hop in, see what you got.
Yeah, so it was one of those things. So like we got killed that game, but it was a friendly game. So they kind of played everyone. I think everyone that was there played.
Yeah,
because it was just
nice.
So played there. That was cool. Then I was just playing with the second team, and then I don't know after how many weeks I finally like debuted with the first team. So that was
an official match.
An official match, yeah. So in the fifth tier, it's like called the Bayernliga or Oberliga. They have like different names for it depending on the region.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool. And it's cool out there because they have fans. It's my first time playing with fans. Like their little town. Like a lot of people are there. So it was a cool experience. And
how many fans do you think were at the game?
That game, probably like a couple hundred, maybe like
200.
Yeah, 300-400 maybe.
That's still a decent amount. I mean, that's kind of what you get at like a local like playoff game for like high school.
Yeah, honestly. So it was a cool experience, no doubt. And then I came in like the 81st minute maybe, and we were up at that time 4-0, 4-1 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I came in and then I touched the ball like twice, but we scored again like while I was in there. So it was
nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
So and then
did you go celebrate in the corner with the team?
I was celebrating with that.
Yeah, you probably were going nuts.
Yeah, it was cool. And then the next day, obviously I only played 10 minutes. So the next day I played with the second team, and then I got injured. I tore my PCL in my knee. So I was like finally like, oh, I got a debut. Things are going good. And then just like that went down. So I was 19 years old at the time.
Did you stay in Germany to recover?
Yeah. So what happened was, since it wasn't like a pro contract and stuff like that, they took me to get an MRI the next day on my knee. So I got MRI, and then the MRI was in German and stuff. And they were trying to translate it to me, saying that it was like I would need surgery. And then my dad was like, listen, if you're going to get surgery, like come back to the U.S. because you're going to be at home with us. No one's like, I'm going to be alone in the apartment out there. And also I didn't mention this, like off the field, I was miserable.
Yeah.
I did not like it. Like,
how was that life at home? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it was okay. Like I was not nearly as glorious as I thought it was going to be because you're so lonely. Like the time difference with like your family and your friends there. And like, I wasn't close to my teammates. I was like the youngest one. They're all older than me. So the language barrier, so it's tough. So I was basically just alone 24/7.
Did you bring like any video games or gaming stuff to like kind of cope with that?
No, I didn't even have my PS4. I didn't even have my PS4 with me because I went there. I didn't like know what to expect. So I was going to get one
Did
eventually.
you think that would have helped?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I should have. I was going to buy one out there.
There you go.
Eventually, yeah.
How to solve depression in Europe when you're
gaming. Honestly,
gaming,
though.
Bro. I mean, think about it. Like you could get so many just like talking to people and communications and like you playing, like say for instance you like done with training at like 10.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? They're 7 hours ahead of us.
7 hours ahead, yeah.
So you'd have to basically like wake up at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Game with your friends.
Yeah.
Like 5 a.m. Game with your friends. Get that out, and then like go to training at like 8 or something like that.
Yeah. There's like
So you could do that. Like
honestly, now gaming would have helped a lot for sure. And then I was gonna get one eventually, but I just kept like kind of pushing it off and stuff like that. But my mom lives in Germany, but she lives about 5 hours from me where I was living. So she came to visit like once a month. I was only there for like 3 months till I got injured.
Yeah.
So I saw her like 3 times, which helped a lot. Like those few days she was there in between. But it was definitely lonely. I was like calling, FaceTiming a lot. Like, but during the days, just like watching movies. Like I would go to like the field on my own just to train, just to like distract myself, you know. But it was definitely hard, lonely days. So then I was like,
distract your mental from your game then. Or
honestly,
do you think when you went to the pitch, you like kind of like left it back at home?
It's tough too because like if you have if I had a bad day at training and then like I was like just miserable off the field, it was like the worst, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely dictated my mood, like how the training went as well. So it was tough for sure. So if like when I was injured, they said I needed surgery. I was like, there's no way I'm staying here. So like, yeah, for sure, go home. Just they asked that my physical therapist here would give them updates or whatever. They had some agree. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't a pro contract. It wasn't a big deal, essentially, you know. So I came home and then obviously I got another MRI here, and then they just said that PCL typically, depending on the severity of the tear, it's kind of like MCL. Usually you don't need surgery. So long story short, I didn't need surgery. I was just in rehab. I was out for about 6 months though. So I was rehabbing.
Why would you not need surgery for a tear? Does it repair?
Yeah, it kind of repairs on its own.
Okay, so it's kind of like a muscle tearing when you work out.
Yeah.
But longer term.
Yeah, longer term. Yeah, because it's kind of like, ACL. Everyone, if you tear your
ACL, you have to get surgery.
And like MCL and PCL, they're all like so like close to each other. But MCL is very similar. A lot of people tear their MCL, they don't get surgery. It's kind of the same thing. Okay. Just rehab and like it repairs
on its own. Like a broken bone where it would repair itself over time.
Yeah. So literally, it's very similar. So PCL, I was out about 6 months, just rehabbing. Then that was 6 months to like fully playing, 6-7 months to fully. But like after 4 months, you're like doing trainings, whatever and stuff. So at that time, I was just when I was at home, I was just like rehabbing and stuff too. That's basically I was. So working.
Now we're in 2019.
March. Yeah. So I tore 28 like October. Late October of 2018. So I was literally 3-4 months. And then I started the rehab stuff like around this time, like November-ish.
Yeah.
Of 2018 then. So by the time I started playing again was like fully cleared was, I want to say April. Like May. And then I was thinking about what am I going to do. So I kept in contact with the coaches there. I was going to go back to Germany if everything was good. The head coach had gotten fired.
Okay.
So he got fired. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? Then like whole new staff, everything. So he's like, I'm going to act as your agent. Come back to Germany. I'm going to help you out. So I went with Luis.
Little
Luis came with me. We went to Germany. And then I went to a 6th-tier team I signed. So a league below. Because I wasn't playing much in the 5th tier.
Yeah.
So like, you know what? Let's go to a 6th-tier team. You're going to play a lot. So Luis ended up not signing due to like he needed like a student visa. It was just
you need visas.
Yeah,
it's the international law.
Yeah, so he couldn't do it. So he ended up going to Roosevelt College, which is a good NAI school. So he went there, and he was gonna just do school. So yeah, I was out there, and this was even worse situation. Like the 6th tier, the 5th tier, huge drop off. And the thing that's crazy that my 5th tier team ended up getting promoted. So, like, you see, like, the 4th tier, which is a super good level. So, my old team's 4th division. Now I'm at the 6th tier team. So, the professionalism is, like, a huge drop-off. So, we're training twice a week. I'm even in a worser area. It's not a bad area, but it's so boring.
Yeah.
And I'm miserable. I had my girlfriend back home at the time.
There's no nightlife. There's no nothing.
But, like, yeah. And, like, I was in a relationship at the time, too. So, then, like, you're missing your girlfriend. It's because, like, the whole time I was injured. Like, we were hanging out, all the stuff.
Yeah, she was there all the time.
Yeah, and
you couldn't move. You're sitting there like...
It's a tough transition to, like, miss your family, then miss your partner and stuff. So it is very difficult.
Yeah.
So I was never really locked in. And, like, the thing that didn't help, I didn't, like, enjoy it there. I was, like, at the beginning I was starting, of course, everything was going well. And then I wasn't playing and I had a bad attitude. So, like, I ended up terminating. I mean, it was the same thing. It's like a semi-pro contract. You get paid, like, in bonuses. So it's not, like, a lot of money. They helped me with the apartment, which was great. But, like, you're not making enough to survive. Like, your dad, like, my parents, I was 19 at the time, so they're helping me out. Or maybe I was 20 at the time, so they're helping me out, send money and stuff. So then I was, like, kind of, like, over that. And then COVID hit. I came back around, like, November of 2019. And then, because we go on break out there in, like, December. Yeah. They had, like, a long winter break out there.
Like a long winter break.
They were,
it's until, like, the end of January, beginning of February.
Yeah, they had a long
And then they restart because that's their winter, basically.
Exactly. So
it's, like, one nasty month, and then it warms up in February.
Literally, yeah. So they had a long break, the team I was with. So I, like, knew I was not going to go back. So I kind of, like, terminated. I was, like, I don't even know how they work with termination because it wasn't, like, a real contract. It's, like, a semi-pro.
Right. It's more
just
like,
kind of like a release.
Yeah.
Just give me my, like, player card release or whatever the case was. So anyways, I come back home, and I'm, like, I'm going to, like, either go to school now because I'm still eligible for school. I didn't mention that while I went back the second time, I was taking classes at Harper College. Online. That helped out. That like, I was miserable, but that also, like, distracted me, and I was like, just doing, like, the gen ed stuff, like getting education, which definitely helped. Which anyone that does that journey, I recommend them to do that stuff.
Yeah, just get some more education.
It helps. Like,
for sure.
Credits. Like, I went part time. I was doing, like, I think full time is like 15 credit hours, right?
It's above 12.
Above 12. So I was doing, like, 6 to 9. Okay, so it was like 2 to 3 classes. But it you felt more productive too. It's like soccer's not going well. At least I'm, like, doing school, something like that. Yeah. If you're not working,
Mm-hmm. And you have, like, both journeys too.
Yeah. So I was doing that a little bit, and then I came home, and then that was 2020. 2020, yeah. So then COVID, like, then I was trying to get trials with teams and stuff like that, and then I went to, as soon as I got back, I got a proper agency while I was in Germany the second time.
Mm-hmm.
OPSM, I don't know if you heard of them.
No.
They kind of got bigger. They've grown for sure. But when I got home in like November, right before COVID of 2019, I went to Michigan Stars. You probably heard
I've
of
heard
them.
Michigan Stars.
So I was there for a lot of people that have tried the pro journey have had trials there for sure. They're very open letting people trial there. I mean, go to an organization in that sense, giving you opportunities.
They're like a semi-pro team essentially, right?
No, they're playing NISA, third division,
NISA.
third division USA.
Yeah.
So they're a good team in that league, whatever. So I went on trial there, and like I had nothing else. So usually at a trial, after like 2 weeks, they don't sign you. It's kind of like
you go home basically.
Yeah, typically.
Right.
But over there during that time period, there's nothing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like one of the only like pro teams training because like everyone ends like around this time November.
Yeah.
So they just kept training and stuff.
And they just kept letting you play?
Yeah, so I was just training with them because their season was done. We were just training, but they were providing like housing and stuff too. So I was like, yo, like I have nothing, like might as well just. And they were like they had groceries at the house, like living in that. So I was there, and it was going really well. So I was there for about 4 weeks, and then we went home for like Thanksgiving maybe break, and then we came back, and then right before like Christmas break, they had like meetings with us. So then I remember I was 20 at the time, not 21 yet. They had my dad on the phone, like in a meeting, talking about like numbers, like we're planning. Alex in their plans, like I'm thinking I'm gonna sign and stuff. They had my dad on the phone. It looked really promising. And then I go home, for winter break stuff. And it was like before New Year's. It was probably like 2 or 3 days after Christmas. The coach calls me.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey Alex, how's it going?" I was really weird. I was like, I think we knew we were supposed to report back like January 5th.
Okay.
Like, why is he calling me?
Yeah.
And then he just basically told me, he's like, "Don't come back. We're like having other players in your position with like experience that we're gonna go with. Like you're young, you're not gonna play realistically. Like that's what the coach told me straight up.
Yeah.
So he's like, we don't want to stunt your development. He's like, I recommend going to school or playing for like a USL 2 or like a MPSL. Like a good semi-pro team, whatever.
Right.
So I'm like, not like that hurt because I was under the impression I was finally gonna sign a pro contract. I was really excited. It was a cool setup. My girlfriend at the time went to Michigan State. So it was like an hour away. Like life was good, Life was good.
Yeah.
And then I mean it's part of the game. So like that knocked me down. Confidence is low. And then 2021, like I committed basically to Roosevelt. Luis got me in. So I was like talking to Roosevelt. So like I was like, let me just go to school. Like whatever. Like let me
go. At this point, I'll just go and hop on and try out.
I'm gonna go play it. And it was a good NAI school. So I'm like, I'm just going to go try NAI and then maybe get my degree. And then after I'll try to go pro, whatever. Yeah. Or if pro comes while I'm playing, at least I'm like in like
you're in a professional environment, essentially.
Yeah.
Not professional, but I mean, college puts you in a position to be like, this is your life.
Yeah, no, college is great in that sense. So I was like, like, let me just do that. And then through his connections, whatever, someone told me about Milwaukee Torrent.
Yeah.
Like with the jersey right there.
The jersey, Milwaukee Torrent.
So I had a talk with the owner and I was like basically like verbally committed to Roosevelt.
Okay.
And then the owner of the Torrent, like we had a phone call and everything, and he's like, I can offer you housing and like offer a little bit of money. And he told me like the project they were trying to go professional, and they only played MPSL, which is like a summer season. So 3-4 months. They start in like April and they end in like late July essentially.
Yeah.
But he's like, we're gonna try to play a fall season. So I'm thinking I'm maybe there for like 7-8 months, right? And Milwaukee's close, and like I looked up the club. It's like very professional. They're gonna pay us. It's not a pro league, MPSL, it's semi-pro.
Yeah.
But they treated it so professional. Trained every day. The housing was amazing. Like we lived so good. So I ended up going there, and that was great. But we didn't play the fall. It was just a summer season.
Okay. And
that was 2021. And then they made it the same league as Michigan Stars. They made Chicago House, which was a professional team as well.
Yeah.
In NISA league, so it's third division.
So Milwaukee Torrent went to NISA as well.
No, they were playing MPSL.
Okay.
So the season had ended with them, and I came home. I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
And then
once MPSL ended.
Yeah, MPSL ended. So it's like, and like people that are going to school, they're still like playing college soccer. So like I always get FOMO if I'm not like training and I see people. You're not
itching, training.
Yeah,
playing,
I'm like my development's getting like stunted.
Yeah.
I had a really good season at Milwaukee. We actually played Chicago House, the pro team, in a NISA Independent Cup thing. It's like a little cup. It was like a 3 tournament, and we beat them. So we beat the pro team. It was like their first. I think it was their first official game, to be fair to them. But we beat them. Like they were good. They dominated us, but we won 2-0. So I had an average showing. We just kind of defended and we countered and we got 2 goals, kind of like off their mistakes. But we beat them, and then season ended. Got in touch with the owner or whatever, the coach. I forget who.
Of Chicago House?
Yeah, of Chicago House. And then since I was local, come train with us. So I went. I joined with training with them.
Was COVID
this was after,
done?
Yeah, it was after COVID. It was 2021.
So, okay, 2021. Okay.
Yeah. So that was after Torrent. I went to Chicago House, training with them, and then my other friend from the Torrent, he was also my roommate. He was really good. Mm-hmm. He went to House. We were there together.
Nice.
So I wasn't getting housed because I was local. They put him up in the team housing, and the coach or the owner was like straightforward with me. They're like, listen, like, because I was joining late essentially. They're like, we have like one spot left. We're not really looking for someone in your position, but you can train with us for the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. They ended up signing my boy from the Torrent. He's different. He's a center mid attacking player.
So they were looking for his position.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, but like I wasn't gonna complain. Like I was happy for him. And then I was still getting great training. So I mean,
you don't want to go in there and be like, yeah, I'm going to play with you because I want to sacrifice my position. It's
no,
like,
of course, yeah.
I want to play. I'm not going to be good in that position.
Yeah.
I would rather play my position somewhere else where I can develop.
Exactly.
Rather than you just not being able to fill a position just because I'm here.
No, of course. Like if they would have told me like, listen, you can compete in this position as a 10 or he plays like a advanced 8-10, I would have been put me there. Mm-hmm. But they were interested in like this is gonna be our player like
a 6 or like an 8.
They just told me like basically like this is the like you can train with us for the season and then like. Whatever. I'm like, all right, why not? I'm local. I'm going to go train with them.
Yeah.
I was playing like Chicago Nation on the weekends, so I get games in, playing like Sunday League, Mexican leagues as well. Yeah. I just stay fit, getting my training with like a proper pro team and then like playing my games on the weekends. So it was still benefiting. And then I was doing well at trainings. And I would ask the coach, I was like, feedback. And he told me, he's like, I'm really happy with you. You can hang and stuff. No doubt. And then he was just telling me that like for the next season, that he was gonna sign me. He told me like straight up. He's like, "You're
for
in
the Chicago House."
Yeah, for House. He's like, for 2022 season, like you're local. I like you. You proved yourself. Like it was just like you came in late. Maybe if you came in early, things would be different. You could have been signed.
Yeah.
You never know.
Timing is always a big thing.
Yeah, it was timing.
Huge thing.
Yeah, so timing. So I'm like, all right, great. So I'm like, I'm really excited. Like I trusted his word. Mm-hmm. And then, long story short, they went kind of like bankrupt at the end of the season. Like the season ended, and I think the owner
had a lot of
issues. So
they had a lot of things that they needed to fund.
Yeah,
I mean they were playing at like SeatGeek Stadium, which is not a small stadium.
No,
you have to pay a lot of money to rent that out.
A lot.
Like and you can't just come into this with a lot. Like you have to have a lot of money. Like if you look at the people who play in England and like Chelsea and Man City, like they're backed by Saudi Arabia, Russian money. Like you look at Chelsea, the old owner of Chelsea, he was like a $900 million Russian like crazy businessman.
Yeah,
like you need money to put into this because it's not like just hey, you go make a team and then that team's gonna bring money back to you.
Yeah,
no, it's like you're dumping money into this and you're definitely gonna lose some.
Yeah,
you can increase the value over time with players and like selling players.
Yeah,
but like if you don't got the money, you're gonna be done for in 2 years.
Yeah,
or less.
True. Literally, so that's literally what happened. Yeah. So I don't know all the finances obviously, so I don't want to speak too much on like being skeptical, but basically like kind of like they didn't fold because the club is still alive. Yeah, but they had to drop the pro status. So that happens.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just money. It's just
and it's stupid because in USA it's literally just paying to be professional.
Exactly.
Like that's all. That's all it is.
Yeah.
There's nothing earned. Nothing is earned. You just pay like a certain fee.
Yeah.
And you get the title.
That's why I think we'll never compete like worldwide. Like like we have a good national team now. Like the players are good. But like our system is so flawed.
There's terrible.
Like imagine they had like how they have in England, in London, they have what, like 12 professional teams?
They have 12 professional leagues.
Leagues, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Leagues, like 12th division.
Yeah, like you can get, like, imagine here, like, even the team we were, FC Select, right?
Yeah.
Imagine they're playing 6th tier, right? And, like, we win. We go in 5th. Like,
we win again.
And then, like,
you win again, you go 3rd.
But then, like, you
now
perform.
You're in 3rd place. You're in 3rd position.
And then if you're performing in, like, 5th tier, like, balling, maybe a 3rd division team will scout you like, oh, you're coming, let's give you a chance.
And then they dump the money to say FC Select.
Exactly.
And then FC Select gets the money, and then they can pay their players more.
Exactly.
It's like the system itself.
Yeah.
In England and in Europe and the way it works, like it builds a story.
Yeah.
And the story that gets built across many years gets built in the fact that it's like the history of football.
Yeah.
And in America, the history of football is just franchise teams and people just buying teams, and then like do they just go right into the MLS and then there's literally nothing but like, okay, if you lose, guess what, you get the number 1 draft pick.
It's crazy
to me. Like if you lose, then you should leave. You should get kicked out.
I don't want you.
Yeah. And you should have the best next team take their spot.
Yeah, in USL essentially.
Yeah, like USL and USL 2 does that, right?
Yeah. No, they don't have promotion relegation anywhere.
It's
not
crazy.
even within USL 1 and 2 and championship, nothing.
It's
so
nuts.
that's why the system's so flawed. So it's really hard. Like, there's no right path to pro in the US because, like, you know, you go to college and then if you don't get drafted, like, it's so hard. There's no right or wrong way to go pro. I think it's just like just having connections ultimately. As long as you're good enough and like you have connections and
you can stay. I think it's fit.
Yeah,
fitness.
Healthy.
I think you got to show up. You got to be on time. You got to just be like a normal human being.
Yeah.
That can show up on time.
Yeah.
And be respectful.
Yeah.
You know, like it goes a long way for the image of any club that you go to.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like you said, having the right connections.
Yeah.
And then that last one, like you talked about, timing.
Yeah.
You got to have the right timing.
Crazy.
Like if you walk up to a club, you have all those first things. You're like, you know, you're respectable. You talk all the time. You're fit. You're ready.
Yeah.
You know, you got like good communications. You got an agent ready to go.
Yeah.
And then you just walk in, and that happened to kick out some guy because his contract ended, and you come in and you're exact same position.
Yeah.
Exact same thing they're looking for.
Yeah.
Younger guy, like 20 years younger, 15 years younger or something. You come in there, and then they're like, we're exactly what you're looking for. Come train. You train. They look good. Come on. And you have that one timing of the game that you play that you do really well.
Yeah.
You ball out in that game. And then guess what? They're like, yeah, I like this kid. Keep him on.
Yeah.
You know? And then like even timing can get like in the worst way because you could have like the coach get fired, for instance.
Yeah.
And then you get a new coach, like you said,
Yeah.
and he comes in and he's like, yeah, I don't really like you that much. I'm going to have to take you out. Like
literally.
Or it's just maybe you just don't fit in the system.
Yeah. That's
like,
a lot
it's not
of
even
factors.
like, yeah, it's not even like, oh, yeah, I don't like you. It's like you don't fit in our system and we want to play. Like you play like a really fast wing back, but I actually want you to come in and play as a center back instead and have like 2 or 3 center backs instead. True. So there's so many factors that go into it, but the overall base structure is just flawed, and it's never gonna get to the point where we can compete because there's the pathway to pro is being built, sort of.
Pay to play.
But it is
pay to play ultimately. Yeah, so there's like all like the street ballers in Brazil, they get scouted and like, you know, they see them word of mouth, they get a trial at Santos or whatever. Here it's like they don't have that. Like,
we've got some ballers in some semi-pro leagues.
There's so many good players,
and they don't even get picked up because of all the schematics and
they don't know. They just don't know the right path, and like there's so many factors too, and there's not a lot of money in these lower leagues either. So it depends on like your home life, if you need help with bills, or like there's so many factors. So it's definitely difficult. But like after that thing happened with Chicago House, when they were like they dropped essentially.
Just their professional
status.
Title, status.
So I was like, oh my God, this is awful. So I basically talked to the owner of the tour, and I was like, I'm gonna go back. But it was the same thing, 3-4 month season, and I'm like, whatever. So I'm gonna go back there. But during that time when House like lost its status, I went to another NISA team, Cali United Strikers, and like I did decent. I was there for like a week, but they had like no more budget. I went late as well because I was like expecting to play with House. Went late, did decent, scored in like our trial match, but the coach like, we have no more budget, no more housing. Like they only had they had a lot of local guys and like one team house that was like a small house. It was like crammed. So like you just never know what coaches. Sometimes they're just being nice, like come up with excuses, or they're being honest. I just kind of take it like it was a no. It was a nice no essentially. Yeah. So I'm like maybe his reasons are real, or he's just being nice and whatever. So I was like whatever. Went back to Milwaukee. We had a bad season as a team, but I had a good individual season again.
Yeah,
so I'm like, so I'm like, I'm performing at like the semi-pro level. I'm like, yo, I can go pro. I just need like an opportunity. Like I did have a few trials and stuff like that, but it just never seemed to work. And then I came back, and Chicago House was playing in an amateur league. I think another Midwest Premier League. I don't even know. So they're playing in that, but
MWPSL or something like that.
One of those leagues. So I was like, all right, like they train every day and stuff. So I jumped in with them. I think their season had just ended as well, but they were competing in the U.S. Open Cup. So I knew the now new head coach was one of the assistants when they were the professional, because the head coach CJ Brown at the time went to Chicago Fire. Yeah, he was the assistant, I think. Yeah. So then Matt Pullen was his name, was a new head coach of Chicago House, one of the best coaches I ever had. He's great. And then we were with them playing the Open Cup qualifiers and stuff like that, training every day. And then I was also playing UPSL with Nation. Mm-hmm. And I went to Mexico with like UPSL, whatever. They said like I don't know, there was like 4 teams from the US and 4 teams from Mexico.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I went with Chicago Nation there. It was a cool experience. And it just like everything happens for a reason. So I was out there, And then we were in Querétaro. That's what the tournament was. And I had like a friend that I knew from Michigan Stars in Chicago House. He FaceTimed me. I didn't talk. We kept in contact, but not that often. He FaceTimes me. And he's like, bro, you're in Querétaro? I was like, yeah. He's like, I was just playing for a team out there, but I literally just left like 2 days ago. If I would have known, I would have stayed a few extra days. And he's like, how do you like Mexico? And I'm like, bro, I love it. He's like, you want to play out there? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. I want to like learn whatever. He's like, send me all your stuff when you get a chance. Like he meant like CV highlights. Send it to him. And then
it's crazy. CV, for those who don't know, is literally a resume.
Yeah, resume.
People don't know that. I'm like, oh, send me your CV.
Yeah.
And they're like,
what's that?
What's a CV?
Yeah.
I have to create a CV. What is that?
Exactly.
I'm like, yo, it's literally just a resume. It's just a different name for it. Like all soccer players say CV, and no one says resume. Everyone in America that I talk to is always like resume.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
anyways, keep going.
So a CV, and then I sent it to him, and then like he's like, yeah, like I get home a few days later, and he's like, yeah, that my agent, whatever that he works with, he's like, he likes your stuff, like. Would you actually be like interested in going back? Because I was back in the U.S. like going to Mexico for like preseason with the team. Yeah. I was like, yeah, of course. So it was Playa del Carmen, which is, if those who don't know, it's right next to Cancun. Amazing area. So it was a
vacation area essentially.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Beautiful.
So it was a third tier team, third division. It was called Liga. They called it Segunda, which is really third tier.
Okay.
Liga Premier. So it's still.
What's that in English? Segunda.
Segunda second. I mean second.
Okay.
So
So it's like Premier League, first league, second league.
So they have
right?
Yeah, they have Liga MX and Liga Expansión, and then Liga Premier. But they also there's another name for Liga Premier. They're called Segunda, but whatever. Okay. It's third tier essentially.
Yeah.
But it is a full professional league. So like third tier Mexico. I was playing like trialing with like third tier USA, Liga MX, MLS. You think it's similar level, it's different style. So like I'm gonna go. I have nothing to lose. So I go there November of 2022. And it's amazing, bro. It's paradise. Like, trainings are good. It's the most professional environment I've ever been in. Like, the way they treated it. Like, the head coach at the time, Carlos Bracamontes, he was like I don't know if legend, maybe. He was like
a club legend or like a Mexican legend?
Like I don't know if legend status, but he's a good player. He played like a lot of teams in Liga MX. I think he played for Chivas, Leon. I might be wrong, but like he was well known. Yeah. I don't know about a legend, but he was well known, great coach. So it was awesome. So I was coached by him. And then as I was there, I didn't know there were so many rules. So I'm there like thinking like, yo, I'm hanging. Like are they going to sign me? What's going on? Mm-hmm. And then the agent actually put me up in a hotel. Like he was paying for my hotel and everything. Crazy. Yeah. Like, yo, this is awesome. So I was staying in a hotel in this party town. So I was locked in though. I was not going out.
Party town.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going out until I sign whatever. Like I'm going to like super lock in. Mm-hmm. So then...
What are these rules?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So the rules were you can only have 2 foreigners per team.
Yeah, the international rules.
2 foreigners. And they have a rule, so it changes every year depending on the age. So when I was there, if you were born in the year 95 to 98, you can only have 8 players in that category. Like if you're born in year 95 to 98, you can only have, those are like the senior players, only 8 of them. So if you're born in the year 94, you're too old for the league, the whole league.
The whole league. So it's like an age limit. Not even like from U18 up. It's like a cap at the top.
Yeah, a cap at the top. So you can have, I think, for the oldest age group, let's say 95, you can only have 2 players 95.
Wow.
And then from 90, so like figure 96 to 98, you can have 6 players. So it's 8 total senior players, and then 2 foreigners. There's so many rules. I'm like, I was getting nervous because I was there. There's already a Panamanian guy signed. Okay. So I'm competing for 1 spot. Luckily, I was in 99. I was my birth year was 1999, so I wasn't competing for
like a senior
spot. It was just a foreign spot. But there's other foreigners on trial too. So I'm there for a month, and like my agent's like, yeah, just relax, you're doing well. We played trial matches against Cruz Azul, Atlas, like Liga MX teams, insane, so dope,
they're so good.
So it was awesome. And then we played against Venados, which is Expansión, 1 league above, and I scored in that game. And that was kind of like the icing, because I was doing good at like training and stuff. Mm-hmm. That was kind of like the icing like on the cake, because the Directivo, like the owners or whatever, high guys, they travel to the game. They travel to that game because like 3 hours away, and Mérida, a nice area. So that kind of sold it essentially. So I signed a few days later. I remember the day I signed. It was December 22nd. So I signed the contract
right before Christmas.
Yeah, right before Christmas. So I'm thinking everything's good, but I needed a work visa to work to play in the league, because I came in on a tour. So many rules. So I had the contract. I had to leave the country, and like do an interview process to go back into Mexico with the contract as a worker. So they did the cheapest thing possible. My agent kind of set it up. He basically did.
You go to like South Florida or something and fly back in?
I went to Guatemala.
Guatemala?
Dude, I went to Guatemala alone, and I had like broken Spanish. So I doing this interview process, and like I failed the process. The questions they asked me and stuff with the contract, it was just like they didn't know if it was a scam. Like, bro, I got denied. So I came back, and then they're like, "Oh, we got to do this process in the U.S. In the U.S.
Oh, in the U.S. Okay.
So they're trying to find me an appointment and stuff. But like while this is going on, the league had started. So I'm missing like 3-4 games, and I finally get an appointment in Texas. So I go to Texas in Laredo, Texas, I believe it was, and they do the cheapest thing possible. So they fly me. My agent is the one who sets this up, but I mean, it's third tier, it's low budget, it's Mexico, It's not a lot of money, so they do like cheaper things. So I fly from. So first off, in Playa del Carmen, you can take a bus to Cancun, which is an hour. You fly out of Cancun. So I took the bus, flew out of Cancun to Monterrey. Monterrey took a 3-4 hour Greyhound to Texas.
Yo.
Then I sleep there in a hotel. Then the next day do the interview process.
Yeah.
And then I pass because obviously I have everything. Like it was just in English, so it was
it was easier.
It was easier. So I pass, come back, fly back. We take the Greyhound back to Monterrey, fly to Mexico City. My agent picks me up and he drives me like 5 hours. This is like 2 a.m. I land. He drives me like 5 hours to, I think it was Celaya and like Guanajuato area, whatever.
And then flies you from there?
No, I had to actually, in Guanajuato, there was another part of the process I need to do for the visa. So there's another visa thing I had to do in person in Mexico, like at the capital, whatever. Or not capital, but like it was just like one of the towns.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it past, I mean, I have everything. It's just part of the process.
Yeah.
Then he drives me to like, in that area, there's like 3 airports all like an hour and a half away. So I went to Querétaro. It's like in that area. So I flew out of there. Back to Cancun, back to Playa. Like I missed like 2 or 3 days of training with all that travel, and I think I'm valid. I'm good to play because I have my visa. Everything's good. But then the other thing that U.S. Soccer needs to clear me, and you need to get cleared by U.S. Soccer.
Oh my God!
So
why?
Bro, yeah, I don't know because there was like ITC. Because even though I wasn't coming from a professional team, like you would think you're coming from amateur team. My recent team was Chicago House.
Yeah.
But they were amateur at the time.
Why does it matter?
Yeah. So, but you still needed like an ITC clearance. It's called. So I couldn't believe it. So like
you had to go fly back again.
No, I was still training with the team. It was just like U.S. Soccer Federation just needed to accept the transfer, but like that was taking so and like there's a deadline. Like I think it was February 1st the window closed, and this is like
the January transfer window. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like a rule like with internationals like whatever. So it's like bro, I'm like stressing. Like I thought I was gonna have to come home because it was like days. Like I got my visa January 7th I think or 6th maybe 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, like the second week of January, and then the window closes like February 1st. So it's like days going by. I'm asking every day at training the coach this, like, no, the U.S. Soccer hasn't responded. So my agent's like asking me if I know any people like in the U.S. Like I was hitting up the people from a house and like reaching out to the owner of the Milwaukee Torrent. Like, can you send me a contact? 'Cause I need to get this approved.
Yeah,
bro, I was so stressed. Long story short, it got approved like January 30th, like a day before the window closed.
Wow.
So I'm like, finally, I can like start
play
playing
in the games.
I can like, cause if that would have got denied, I would have like been sent home and stuff.
And you would have contracted and terminated, right?
Yeah. I mean, luckily they were still paying me during this time. I was still on contract.
Wow.
But I just couldn't like actually play games. And we had a super good team. So this whole time we haven't lost. I think we lost 1 game out of like probably 8 games played. So I couldn't even break into the team.
Because they're just playing that well.
Our team was really good.
They're just that good. Yeah.
We had a really good team, and our coach like was very set in his ways. Like he basically almost had the same starters every game because it was working. Like why change something that's not working? So I can't complain. And he had like the same subs come in basically the same minute of every game. Like no matter how they were playing, it always seemed like this guy's gonna go in for this guy at this minute or like around in this like the 60th, 70th minute. But it was working. So like what can I say?
Yeah.
So I'm finally registered. And then I'm not playing. I'm like making bench appearances, which is cool because like there's a lot of fans there, which is cool. It's cool, but like you're there to play, so I'm like getting super frustrated. And then I finally like after like 6 games, I finally make my debut. I play like 20 minutes against like a pretty weak team. We won 2-0, but I made my debut. Then the next week was the last game of the regular season, and then which was awesome. My dad and his girlfriend came to the game. They came to Mexico to see me. So he played me in that game. I don't know if it was because like.
Did you tell him? You told the coach that your parents were coming?
I told him that my dad was coming. I had to.
You got it.
Yeah. So then.
You got to poke it in and be like, hey, I just want my dad and his girlfriend are coming. Like they're coming to visit us and see the town and see everything that's going on. Yeah. So I just want to let you know.
Yes, I told him.
Throw it in there.
And it's all in Spanish. So my Spanish is getting good out there too. He doesn't speak English. Okay. But like he knew my dad and his girlfriend. They came to like watch a few trainings and stuff like that because they were there for like some time, and they came to the game and he put me in like the last 15. And I had a decent game, and he was like happy with me, so it was awesome. And then we went into playoffs. So the way that the playoffs worked was, there was a home and away game, like in the aggregate score.
Aggregate, yeah.
Aggregate, so it was really dope. So you're traveling. So the first game, like, was it quarterfinals? Because we played 6 games. So quarterfinals, the first game, we tied. I think it was 2-2. I want to say.
Okay. Is it the away goal season? Is this not
it's not away.
Aggregate only?
It's aggregate. Yeah. So. I didn't get rostered that game, which was crazy. I played the last 2 games of the season, did well, but I didn't get rostered for the playoff game. It was a home game, and then I got rostered for the second leg, and then we advanced. We won. Did we? I don't know if
you have to win. If
we didn't know we won. No, we won. No, I thought we tied. Maybe it wasn't an away. Whatever. We advanced.
It could have been an away goal thing,
and maybe it was,
which is essentially. If you have more away goals than the other team, and you tie an aggregate,
exactly,
you're the person that advances.
Exactly. It had to have been something like that. But no, I think we tied 2-2 and then 1-1, but we had better standings throughout the season. I think because I gotta after this I'm gonna go back and check, but we advanced in the first round in that round, or maybe we even won, but we advanced. I don't remember all the details, which I should know, but. I'm not locked in, I guess, but we advanced, and that the second leg was in Puerto Vallarta. So we played the team in Puerto Vallarta, which is also a vacation town. But when you go,
nice over there.
Yeah, but we go play these games. We're just like at the airport hotel, a nice hotel, and that's it. We don't like explore.
Yeah, you can't really explore after
exactly.
That,
So we win that, and the next round we play another. Like we were like underdogs for the semifinals. Played a team Chihuahua, whatever. So the home game I'm rostered, and. Bro, I can't believe I don't remember the scores of these games, but I think we tied as well. Mm-hmm. We tied. Damn, I should have done this before I came. But anyways, don't remember the aggregate score of the first game, and then we traveled to Chihuahua. I don't roster for that game, the traveling game.
Do you travel still or no with the team if you don't roster?
No, you don't travel.
So you stay back.
So I stayed back, but like there's like a few of us that stay back and stuff. So
yeah,
it sucks.
I'm surprised they don't travel with the team because you still have trainings out there.
Yeah, I mean, so basically if the game was on Saturday, you travel on Friday.
Yeah.
You travel on Friday, and then, like, you land, and then, like, you do, like, activation in the hotel, like, in the gym area, and then you play the next morning. And then you travel, like, that night or the next morning.
Okay.
So then, like...
So it's really nothing
crazy, so the guys who don't travel, we'd have, like, one of the coaches, like, one of the other coaches, whatever, that wouldn't travel either, and we just train, like, us. It's basically just doing fitness.
Yeah, fitness
little stuff with the ball and fitness. You're there for an hour. It's pretty quick, but anyways, and then they travel and they win. We have like a big upset out there, and they have like good fans and stuff, so we win that one. Then we're in the finals, so we're fighting like promotion essentially. Like if you like, I don't know the exact rules, but if you win like that league, you can like get promoted if your like stadium meets the certain funds or something like that.
There's a couple standards and requirements for each thing.
Yeah,
one of them is like. For professionals, it's like you have to have a locker room.
Yes.
You have to have a stadium.
Yeah.
And you have to have like an away locker room, and then you have to have like a certain like number of people
capacity.
In the stadium. Capacity.
Yeah.
Because some teams in England have a specific capacity.
Yeah.
Just to meet the requirements.
Yeah.
For that
like
thing.
adding like they'll build stuff on. Yeah.
They'll build like 5,000 seats or something like that extra.
Yeah.
Just to meet the capacity requirements.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth it in the end. So we were in the finals. So the first leg was at home, and that was awesome. I'm not playing at all in these playoffs, but like I made the bench for the first leg. Mm-hmm. And our stadium, we were sold out. It was like 8,000.
That's awesome.
So even like warming up, dude, like you see like the fans. Like for me, that was awesome. Like I never like experienced that, so it was really cool. So didn't play, but we tied that game 2-2 against a really good team. Obviously, they're in the final for a reason. And then the following game, so it's tied 2-2. And then we go over there. I don't travel. And I was so upset for, like, the final game.
Yeah.
Didn't travel, unfortunately.
I'm surprised they didn't have you travel just to celebrate with the team.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't do that with us. Maybe it's because, like, I mean, to be fair, our team was pretty well funded. But also, at the end of the day, like, it is third tier. So, we get paid decent, but it's not like a crazy amount. It's like, it's whatever. So we didn't travel there, unfortunately. But that stadium, dude, they had like, because they used to be Expansión, I think, or even Liga MX like years ago. Right now, they're currently in Expansión, the second tier.
Second tier?
Yeah, but that stadium held like 20 to 25,000 packed. It was insane. I was watching. I was like, I can't believe I'm not there.
Yeah.
So it sucked. It was bittersweet, but we ended up tying that game, went to penalties, lost in pens.
Wow.
So then, like...
So if you would have won, you would have been promoted to Division 2.
See, but I don't think our stadium held the requirements.
Okay.
We had, like, a nice locker room, nice stadium, but it's small. So I don't know if we would have been able to promote.
I feel like you would have in Division 2. I feel like Division 1 is the one where it gets...
Liga MX. Yeah, so maybe we could have. I don't really know all the rules.
It's also, like, you also have to pay a certain amount to be in the next league, too. Like,
exactly.
You have to pay the league fees for that year.
Yeah, so I don't know if we would have been able to. But, yeah, so that was my experience in Mexico. I didn't mention, like, during the season, we were in another cup competition, and we won that.
Was there is there multiple cup competitions kind of like England or like?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I don't know.
That was like playoffs, essentially the end of the year.
That was like the league. That was like the league we were in.
Yeah.
And then we had another cup competition.
Champions League-ish kind of deal? Or
it's more like a
multiple league competition or no?
It was like, so we were playing the third tier.
Okay.
So like it was the Liga Premier, and then they had Liga, the league below, the Tercera, it's called. Tercera, like the. Okay. Yeah, Liga TDP at Tercera, they call it. So it was like a third, fourth tier competition.
Okay.
So we won that. I mean, the third, like if you're a third tier team, you should be winning those essentially. Mm-hmm. But we won against another.
But you playing against another third
tier. So we beat another team in our league essentially in the finals. That was cool. We won that. That was awesome.
Were you able to be on the?
Yeah, I was. I was there. I traveled and everything. I didn't play in that game in the final, but I was there, so that was awesome. Yeah. So I traveled majority of the games. I think I was eligible to play like after I got cleared.
Okay.
For about 12 games, like roughly, I'm just thinking. I only played in 2 of them, but I was made at least like 8 appear. I think I only didn't make roster 4 times. Yeah. Or so.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So then after that, the season ended. I came home. Same thing. I come home. It's like May. Some U.S. leagues are starting. This is 2023 of May, and I have an agent at the time that I'm actually signed with. I actually signed with him in Mexico. So the guy that was helping me in Mexico, like I wasn't actually signed a contract with him. He just like had connects. Like,
is this the same guy then you signed with? Or?
No, I actually signed with another guy from the U.S. He reached out to me. That's my current agent right now. I signed with him and everything, and then he was like looking for opportunities for me. So I went on a few trials with some NISA teams as well, and then I went to Flower City, and I was there. And
Where's Flower City at?
Yeah, they're in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
So I got home.
Yes,
I was home for
that. I remember when you went there.
Yeah, so I was there. Yeah, they had a nice stadium, nice setup. But when I went there, like, I mean, they wanted me to stay. Like, I told them, like, my agent, I'm like, I'm going to go for a week trial. If they don't want me, I'm not staying longer. So I ended up staying, like, a week and a half. Mm-hmm. And, like, they were like, yeah, we like you and stuff like that. We don't have much money, but we're not 100% sure. Like, can you stay another week? And I was like, nah, like, I'm not staying another week. Like, you see me enough. Because they had, like, the only issue was joining late with the lower tier team. They don't have much budget as it is.
Yeah.
And they were deciding between me and another player. And the other player, I think, was supposed to come the same time as me. And he was coming like a week later. So they kind of wanted to like
compare
before
the two.
Before they signed me, if they were to sign me, they were like, I want to see this player. We can't make a decision yet. Essentially, it was like the vibe I got. Like, you can stay and keep training. I'm like, nah, like, you know, I was like, nah, like, I'm not.
You want them to basically choose you.
Yeah.
Regardless.
And even if I were, like, hypothetically, I think if I were signed, it would have been like not very good money at the time either.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it would have worked. So, anyways, then I went back home. I'm like, what am I gonna do now? My agent here is like, I'm gonna keep looking for teams, just stay fit. So I'm playing in all these random leagues. You know how it is here. I think I was playing with you guys. FC Select. Yeah. I played a few games with you guys. I was playing in like other Hispanic league. I was just staying fit.
Yeah, just having fun, playing around. There's plenty of leagues around here.
Dude,
in the
we're blessed in this area. There's so much soccer going on.
Oh yeah.
You can always stay fit and active here, which is a blessing. You know. Yeah. So after that, I went back to Mexico with the agent that helped me. I was not signed with him, but I was still talking with him, you know, because, yeah, like he was just willing to help me. So I went there. I went to another team in Mexico, and I went to it, like, this is when I kind of, like, I was done working with him. He sent me to a team that already had 2 foreigners signed during preseason. I'm like, what am I doing here? I can't sign. So he was like, no, it was just, like, telling me, like, BS. So I was like, I'm wasting my time. Yeah. And then my actual agent that's located in the U.S. told me about Team LA Force, another NISA team. He's like, they really seem interested. They're trying to close their rosters. This season's going to end. It was like August time, maybe late July. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, it seems like a good opportunity. I'm going to go. So I went there, LA Force, and it seemed great. I signed after like 3 or 4 sessions. I was like, all right, cool. So I signed. Team housing. It was kind of packed, whatever. But like, good players on the team. It was a good team. So I go there and then like, I sign and then I'm never seeing the field. I'm just never playing. I'm like, why did you sign me? Like,
if you're gonna sign me, like at least toss me in for 5 minutes here.
Yeah.
And there,
So I was just like, it was just one of those things. Like the coach, like, I mean, he signed me for a reason, but like then they just didn't. I don't know if they signed me for depth or what it was, but I wasn't playing. So it was just a disaster, and I was like so fed up that like I actually ended up terminating before the season ended. I needed to get out of there. Like, it was just it wasn't the right fit for me. Like I wasn't playing, and like he basically told me like didn't see me in the plan. Like it just didn't work out. Essentially, that happens. It's part of the game. So we parted ways. To like long story short, we left.
Yeah.
And then I came back home, and I was like contemplating if I want to keep playing and stuff because it's tough. It's
a tough grind. I mean, like, it's not easy.
And there's not a lot of money in it. Like you make like enough, like if they cover your housing, you can get by and stuff. But it's not like luxurious. People see the pro status. I mean, those who know, like like there's not money in these lower leagues. There's not money. They offer housing. You gotta, you can still live and stuff, but it's not like it's more for the experience.
Yeah.
It's more you play for the experience and like the hope of.
It's like paycheck to paycheck essentially.
Yeah, and like
you make the money that you make.
You're spending
goes right back into food.
Yes,
and like all and just travel and like gas and like super easy simple expenses that you do, and then you like cannot. They create a savings. You can't actually build up wealth or money.
You can't.
It's kind of just like you're just churning the wheel, and then like say for instance you get off that and you don't have a job for the next 6 months, 7 months, you could be screwed.
Exactly.
Like that's how low that money bar is. But it gets you through.
Yeah.
But if that's like your goal and your dream, but it's not gonna be like the end all do all to like actually build something up.
Exactly.
If it was like a little bit more than what it is,
and
you could actually build a little bit of a savings, it definitely could be worth it. But it's really not at that level.
It's not.
Yet.
I mean, some players, get paid more and stuff like that, but still not like that much in the lower leagues. But I mean, some do because like getting the housing and stuff makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But so then I came home, and like whenever I'm home in the off season, I always coach. I coach for like a club in Schaumburg called Fire Strikers. I help them out. It's like a Polish club, and then little Luis, back to him. He has his own. He took over his dad's club, so I'm an assistant at both clubs. So I'm like with them like usually 4 times a week. And then I also offer personal training. So I have like my own clients. I train like, depending, in the summer, it's very consistent. During the season, they're in club. It's hit or miss. They kind of hit me up randomly. So little then I play these like Sunday League, Mexican leagues, the Hispanic leagues, they call it. You get a little cash per game, So you get by. It's
$20, $30, $100.
Yeah, 100, whatever. Depends. Every team's different. So play in those leagues just to like for work essentially. But so then I was home in that winter, and then after LA Force, and I was like, what am I jumped in to play with Pau Chicago.
Yeah.
First game back, I'm like, I'm hungry to play. Like, I want to prove a point. First game back, 30 minutes in, I break my toe. Break my like 4th toe on like.
Oh my god! Is this all on your right foot?
Yeah, it's my right foot. Yeah, so I'm like, dude,
you gotta put some spells on your right foot to protect it, bro.
Yeah,
it's just crazy,
dude. And then it was
crazy.
It was just like so down bad, and then I'm like in the.
How long was that recovery?
I mean, it's only like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah,
but I was
not
like,
too crazy.
But like I left
LA.
It's
enough.
One of the reasons I like left there as well, like was like to go play.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't get much film in Mexico. I barely played. You're not gonna play me here at LA. So like, what am I doing? Like, it's better to go home, play in like a semi-pro amateur league, whatever you want to call it. But they record the games, and I need like film is so essential.
Yeah.
And like whatever money I'm making in LA, I can make the same at home coaching and stuff like that. Like it's whatever. And then like I'll be happier. Like obviously you're losing like the pro status. But it's like I want to play. That's what makes me happy. That's why I do this,
Yeah.
So I was like, sometimes one step back is 2 steps forward, essentially. So
yeah, right.
That was another part of it. So yeah, I was at home, and then winter came. It's indoor leagues and stuff, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Reaching out to teams, like with my agent trying to help me, and like my stock. I mean, never had a big stock, but maybe it was going down even more because I wasn't playing. I didn't have much film, so it was really tough. And then luckily, like. I was like just always staying like once I recovered I was like I'm always going to stay fit, stay fit and active, and just like something will happen. And then April, so keep in mind, like a lot of the USL in those leagues, they start preseason like February, January time.
Okay.
Maybe March, but that's like rare. That's
when did you break your toe?
This was like
was that not even
October?
Close?
October.
Okay,
yeah, so I had a lot
November,
of time. I was like fit and healthy by like whatever, but like nothing. He got me like a few contract off. He got me like a team in Australia,
That's crazy.
How
fun would that be?
Second tier Australia, like the most money I would ever make playing soccer, probably. Like it was decent, bro.
Yeah.
Like okay, not like luxurious, but like compare it to like enough. Compare that to like money you would make.
Like it's like $500 a week versus $1,000 a week.
Yeah,
it was a huge difference.
It was decent. Okay, like people that don't know, it's probably like it's a lot of money. It's not that much money, but like it's like it was like USL, probably how much they make ish. So it was decent. Like they pay pretty well out there or whatever. Yeah. But like I was like thinking about it. I was talking to like my dad and other people. It's like the ultimate goal is, like play it like, I mean, the ultimate goal is always playing first tier, right?
Right.
If like my realistic goal is like playing USL Championship, for example, like obviously MLS, but like it's you always have to have that like hope and stuff.
It's
but,
tough to get in MLS.
It's so hard. Even like USL is so hard, second tier here, and you're playing third tier, but you just see like how difficult it is. It's like, let's just say USL is like my realistic goal. It's difficult, but it's like a realistic goal.
Yeah.
And like going to Australia second tier, kind of like middle of nowhere. That's not a professional league. Like they pay well and stuff, but it's like on paper it's still amateur, semi-pro.
Mm-hmm.
And like, is that better than playing like third tier USA? That's pro status and like the USL teams know like the US system. Like, what was better? So like, long story short, I was like, I'm not gonna go across the wall. I'm not gonna do it. So I turned it down, and I was like, something better is gonna come up here.
How do you feel about turning it down now?
I don't regret it. Yeah, I don't regret it at all. And then Then I was just waiting, and then I went to a NISA team, Georgia FC. So they rebranded. It used to be called Georgia Lions, and they're kind of like the team I was just at right now.
What's the stadium? The
Silverbacks.
So crazy story about this. My best friend played his rugby national championship at that location.
Bro, yeah.
And I went to go visit him on a whim.
Mm-hmm.
So like the game was on Saturday and Sunday, and Saturday was the semifinal, Sunday was the final.
Yeah.
And then I was watching the game on Saturday, and I was like, if he wins, I'm going to go fly out and watch the game on Sunday. I didn't even buy a plane ticket.
Yeah.
I didn't buy a hotel, nothing.
Yeah.
I watched the game. They slaughtered him, went online. I bought the ticket, bought the hotel and everything. He had no idea.
Yeah.
I get off my flight. I got a rental car and everything too.
Yeah.
Get on my flight, drove right to the stadium, right? Like everything was there. Everything's still in my car packed.
Yeah.
Like the rental car. I get out. I run to the field.
Yeah.
They're like warming up as I get there.
What? That's
They're
badass.
warming up as I get there.
You're a real one for that.
And
That's
then
crazy.
I just scream his name.
Yeah.
I call him. So before like Pookie was a thing.
Yeah.
His name, like his mom calls him like Lukey or something like
that.
Yeah. So I just was like, oh, Pookie, make fun of him.
Yeah.
But like I just like a little nickname.
Yeah.
So I like screamed that out, and he like turned around and looked at me, and he was like pointing at me, and he was
Bro,
like, no way.
That's badass. That's a real friend. That's actually super sick.
It was so sick. So he was in the national championship finals, and then they unfortunately lost because they had a major league rugby player on the other team.
Oh wow.
He got kicked out of the Major League Rugby because of domestic violence.
Really?
Because he was just like that crazy.
Damn.
But like that's like the speculation, allegedly.
Yeah. No, I feel.
But he got kicked out, and he was an MLR player, former MLR player, Polynesian guy. Yeah. And he was just massive, huge. Took over the game, and they like won by one touch, which is basically like one touchdown in football. Super close game. So I've had history with that stadium.
Damn, bro. Yeah, that stadium. I mean,
it's a cool stadium.
It's not. It's really historic because they used to have the other NASL back in the day, second tier before USL or whatever. Back in the day, they was like first tier NASL. But
so it was a first team professional.
Yeah, well,
field.
So back in the day, like when my dad played, NASL was like what MLS is today. Okay. And then like the leagues folded, bankruptcy, whatever, for so long, and then NASL, I think, made a comeback in like 2008, and then so it was playing second tier at that point because MLS was around then. So NASL made a comeback, I want to say, around 2008, and that was second tier, and USL used to be third tier. So they were an NASL team, a second tier team in that stadium, Atlanta Silver. I think it was Atlanta Silverbacks. Yeah, so that's why it's called Silverbacks Park. So that stadium was for that soccer team, I believe. But then I think they folded it, went bankrupt like 2016, I want to say. I might be wrong, I don't know, around that, but yeah, so I went to Georgia FC. Literally, my agent told me, like, it was a Friday. He's like, hey, there's a new NISA team, like they rebranded, whatever, they're going to be Georgia FC. Long story short, I sent your stuff to the coach. He's a good friend of mine. He really likes what he sees of you. I'm like, all right, cool. I was kind of like, all right, whatever. And then Saturday, he's like, things are like that was Friday. And he's like, things are progressing.
You're gonna get in.
Yeah, I was like,
do you want to go?
Yeah, and then he told me the offer like on Sunday. He's like, this is what they're offering. They're offering you this. Do you want to go? And I was like, talked to my dad. I was like, yeah, like I want to keep playing. Like I need to go somewhere I'm gonna play. And then I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then we're getting all the details sorted. And then the coach called me on Monday, and he sold it really well. Like he was really wanting me. You know, that's what I needed.
Did he sell playing time, or what did he sell to you that made you so inclined to go?
He was like telling me, he's like, I know you're gonna score big goals for this club and help us win, and like just I needed like a coach like at a pro level. I mean, it's still third tier, but still like give you that confidence, because all the other ones like it just didn't really like work out. Like even the ones that I signed with, they didn't play me, they didn't trust me, but I just felt it in his voice. So I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna go, whatever. So they had everything you need. They had like obviously you get paid. They had a team, like they had a house for us players and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, training every day. It's what I wanted. So I'm like, let's go. So I ended up going there on this call was on a Monday, and then
was it a length contract or was it just
a season? And it actually expired October 31st. So expired like what, a week ago? Yeah. So, but our season had ended like in middle of September, but it was just like
but they still kind of pay it out throughout the rest of the year in case things comes up or whatever.
Exactly. So that's what happened. And then I remember on the Monday I had to call like the coaches. I was like the clubs I was working for. Yeah. I was like, hey, like, because they knew like whenever I work with them, they know my situation, that I'm still trying to pursue. That's why I'm always an assistant coach. Yeah. So like if I go, like, you know, whatever. So they know. So they were cool about it. And then I literally packed up my car and left Tuesday morning. Drove out there to Atlanta. Yeah. Just like that, because their season was starting like
that weekend.
Yeah, because it was like a makeshift. Like the league, like the team entered like last minute. They needed, it was like.
So like the league needed another team essentially,
and then some investor, something happened. It was such like a last minute team, and then I went out there and things were great. And it was funny. My roommate from Torrent that was with me, that was at Chicago House, that signed instead of me. He ended up going there with me. We were talking during the off season, and we were roommates again.
No way.
And he was playing USL Championship the year before. Okay, like a very good level. He had a lot of good minutes and stuff. Like he played. He started, not every game, but he started quite a bit. But his team ended up folding. Wow. He had signed like an extension. Like they picked up his option.
When you say folding, they mean like they
like ceased operations. Operations, the whole club. Yeah. So he was out of a team, and like he had some teams that wanted him at a higher level than like the Georgia, but they actually offered him more money at Georgia. Wow. Georgia FC. So he went there, and we were just like reunited and stuff too. So it was a really fun season. It was like a really rocky season. We had a really good team, and then like, you know, other people like they got other jobs. They had kids. A lot of guys had like families and stuff too. Yeah. There wasn't enough money, so they kind of like stopped going, and like the team kind of like, we started off really strong. We ended kind of bad. There's a lot of internal things within the club, but you know, it was a great experience. I had so much fun in Atlanta. So I loved my time.
And you played a lot more.
Yeah, I played. I finally played. We played 19 games, and I started 10 of. I made appearance every game I was able to play, and I started more than half the games. I didn't score as many goals as I would have liked. I was playing as a striker, more as a winger. I actually played like 2 games as center mid, and then I had to play 1 game as right back due to like someone suspended. I was playing right winger, whatever. But it was a great experience. So, like individually, like it was nice to like finally be in a pro team and play. Yeah. Play like a full, like it was full a short
and actually play too. Yeah. Like not sitting on the bench and riding the bench.
Exactly.
Practice players.
Exactly. So I made appearance. Like there were some games obviously I didn't start, like, but I made appearances every game, so that was good. Didn't get the stats I would have liked. But like, you know, it was like a nice feeling to like you can hang in that league and stuff. It's not like that crazy. It's so not too crazy, it gives you confidence that like you can play in like USL. Like I feel like if you're in the environment, if you're good and you're thrown in the environment, like you can hang. Yeah. Like, you know, if you know how to play, like maybe at the beginning the pace is a little fast, and then you'll pick whatever. It up. We played friendly games against like other like local USL teams from Georgia, like South Georgia Tormenta, whatever it's called, and we lost 1-0, I believe. Maybe 2-0 at the very end they scored. But, like, I played, and, like, you can hang it. Like, it's not a big difference. Yeah. The levels are really – because even when I was dating back to Mexico, we played against, like, the Liga MX teams. We're third tier. And, like, we tied Atlas 3-3. We tied them – obviously, they played some of their younger guys and stuff, too. They play some – it's preseason. It's a preseason game. But still, like the level is not that much. You know, if you're thrown in that area, in that environment training, like – you can do it. I think the hardest part is getting the opportunity. Getting the opportunity, having the coach believe in you, because they look down.
And then getting lucky as well.
Yeah, lucky too, because a lot of them, like, if you're like just as good maybe as like let's say I'm going to a new USL team, and this guy has 2 years of USL experience. I have no USL. I just have like Nisa, and we go there and we're the same player. Like we're very similar. He's better at this. I'm better at that, and they can't decide to look at like the experience. Oh, he's played in this league for 2 years. I'm gonna take him over him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
tough.
so hard, but that's why you just got to keep going, keep faith, keep going, working hard. And like, I feel like if you don't quit, like eventually something will happen, you know? So obviously I'm not where I want to be like with my playing career, but I'm still pushing, you know?
Yeah. So what's next for you then? So are you gonna continue with Georgia team? Do you look to like go elsewhere, to go Europe action for January transfer window? Are you looking to push yourself out there to a higher level team, or are you gonna try to keep getting more experience and more film?
No, so like honestly, like it's so like you never know in the off seasons, like the unknown. Like I have my agent that, you know, is trying to like look, like he reaches out to whatever teams he can. I'm doing my own networking. It's everything, like reaching out, sending my film, even on LinkedIn, like talking to like friends, agents, whatever. And I'm so open to going anywhere. Like as long as there's a good opportunity, I see it like benefit in my career, you know? So I'm open to like, I have my German passport, if a European opportunity came up, I loved my time in Mexico, South America. Like I'm just going with the flow. Cause right now there's no real movement to like January, February time. So I'm just kind of like staying fit. Luckily I'm training with Chicago House. They're still in season. They're in the Open Cup qualifiers.
Yeah, I was saying they're in the kind of like playoff action for them, right?
Yeah, so they're doing that. So they're training. So the only thing was with that, they only have a game like every like 3 weeks or so because they keep winning, which is great.
Right.
But the new head coach was one of my former teammates, and I told him my situation. He's like, "Yeah, man, come train." So it's a blessing for me. So if I wasn't with them, I'd be training on my own. You know?
Right.
So I'm training with them. Depending on the week, they train usually 3 to 4 times a week. And I have also a personal trainer that I work with. And then, so it's like I can stay fit, you know?
And then you're working as well.
I'm coaching. I'm coaching like 4 times a week. And then I'm playing like I can't play with Chicago House, but I'm training with them. Mm-hmm. And then on the weekends, I'm playing in like these like Sunday league things, but you know, you get some money from them. Yeah, I was playing with Powell too. Yeah. I was playing with Powell in UPSL, but that season ended. So I played about 3 or 4 games with them. Mm-hmm. So I'm blessed that like we said in like this area where we are, there's so many teams to not every team trains, but there's so many leagues that you can go play, you know?
Yeah. I feel like it's important for the teams to start training.
Oh, 100. I mean, that's
but one of the hardest parts is getting field availability.
Yeah.
And also getting people to show up
Because people work.
People work,
older
especially at nighttime.
Yeah.
Like the people that work at nighttime is a lot higher than you'd believe.
Yeah.
Or like they work until 6 p.m. and it's like, okay, the availability is this time, and like they can't travel physically to get there in time.
Exactly.
After they gotta work.
And it's like it's tough after work too, and like a lot of those like leagues they don't pay. It's like people just go for the love of it. But the one thing that I really like about Chicago House environment is that basically everyone there is all have the same ambition to go pro.
Yeah.
Like people like we train when we do train, it's every morning. It's like 9 to like 10:30 essentially.
Yeah, and those are the guys that are going to be trained to go pro.
Yeah,
because they're available at that time as well.
Yeah, and all those guys, like their dream is to go pro, or like that's their ambition. So whatever jobs they do, they pick up. It's like they're doing part-time jobs. You know, their main focus is soccer. They're making enough money to get by playing in these leagues. You know, afternoon jobs. Like they're all making a sacrifice. There's some people that were traveling from Milwaukee 2 hours to train, so, like Indiana area.
That's crazy.
We train at Trinity Christian College. Okay. So it's like Palos Heights. So for me, it's 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty far.
That sucks, dude. That's awful. And just knowing that I can't even play with them on the weekends when they have games.
Yeah.
I'm just going for like, I just look at the bigger picture. I'm like, this is going to benefit me more than me training on my own.
Yeah.
You know, so
because you get the aspect of like the things that you can't control that you don't get in single trainings.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is that person going to do?
Yeah.
What is the other player going to do?
Yeah.
How do I react to that?
Exactly.
That's happening.
Yeah.
Because you don't get that in training by yourself. You can train by yourself, and it's very good to train by yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's also good to add on top of that, like reactionary forces.
Oh, yeah.
Like trying to react to some other person's skills, some other person's motives.
Yeah.
And even if you train with different people each day, it's good because you get different players, different play styles, different environments. And it really makes your like I say the I forget what it's called, but the reactionary nerve, the fast twitch reflex nerve.
Okay, yeah.
It keeps it on point so that when you go to another game level situation, you're gonna be ready.
Yeah,
and so like true. That fast twitch reflex, if you just train by yourself, you can only train it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But like once something in front of you happens, you can't control and you have to react to it.
Yeah.
It's a different game.
No, yeah, like
different environment.
I'll go against the cone 1-on-1, do some crazy scissors, and then I go against someone. I'm like, damn, like
because they could change their body
exactly.
It's
just different, yeah. So I think it's really nice that we have that environment. So Chicago House is like one in my I don't know how other places are, but probably the best semi-pro, high-level amateur, you want to call it, like team, like the professionalism. that when I was in Milwaukee Torrent, you can debate, but what I have access to Chicago House is amazing. Like
the training facilities and like
just
the level of training.
Yeah, like the players there, and just like no other teams that I know in the Chicagoland area are training like that. And everyone there has the same goal to go pro. Mm-hmm. So it's like great for me to go there and train. Even though I can't play, like just be able to train with them. It's awesome. Then I can train on my own. I have my trainer. Some players like also come early and stay after to do like your individual, your shooting, whatever. So it's a good environment. So like, yeah. So now I'm just training with them and just staying in contact with my agent, making, and just staying patient too. Cause there's a lot of things that happen. Like if I don't find, for example, a team by February, March, April, even, I still have a nice setup here that if it comes later, I can still train. Maybe by then, if you can always sign up and play like UPSL, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to stay fit.
And then league.
Yeah. And then if an opportunity comes, I know that I'm in a good area that I will be fit year round,
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like going with the flow and see what happens, Like I don't want to like stop playing anytime soon because I still have like the hunger. But like, like once, if I had like maybe a little bit more responsibilities, I think differently. Mm-hmm. But as long as I don't like just have to do responsibilities that I have, I'll keep playing, So I'm just going with the flow. Yeah. I'm really just going with the flow. Once I'm not enjoying it anymore, then I'll think differently. But, like I don't want to have any regrets, like stop now and then like
what if,
you
don't want to have those when you get older. So
I want to keep playing and just see what happens, especially like after the season I made so many connections. Then I'm like, maybe one of these guys can help me out, and so.
Have you ever thought about like the different path to pro, where you could be a coach later on?
Oh, I love coaching, dude.
Yeah?
I love it.
Do you think you're gonna take that to the next level, maybe?
Yeah, I would want to. So
say like in 5-10 years, after like your playing career is essentially like over, like say you get to like 35, 37 years old. Like
if I'm still playing by
people
then,
people can still be playing. I mean, Ronaldo's.
Well, but at that level, if I'm not playing like MLS or like good money by then,
then you're gonna need money somehow. Yeah. So like, would you transition into like a professional coaching role?
I would love.
Would you take that path to pro?
Yeah, I would love to do like I like. Because I coach some kids that are not so good. Like, like the better they are, the more fun it is. Mm-hmm. I would love to coach at like a fire academy. Yeah. Like, or even a college or something like that. Like good level, like people with ambitions to go pro, like Chicago Fire. Like it's good kids and stuff like that too. Like I enjoy where I'm coaching right now, but obviously it's like part-time. I want to join like ambition for like a top club, get my coaching licensing and stuff like that. And always do personal training on the side. I like to do that stuff. So and like agency stuff too. I'm working with my friend. They started an agency kind of program. They're sending one of them's based in Florida. The other guy, I used to play with him in Milwaukee. And his other like friend is based in Spain now. I think they went to school
What's the agency?
Like, PMP Sports.
So what does the agency do?
So we basically get players from the U.S. that are trying to go pro and send them to Spain. So the connections more in Spain is not to get them like we're not sending them to like our targeted audience is more like players that are like on the like more like 18-year-olds.
Yeah,
18 to 20, talent. Younger that like maybe don't have a college opportunity that they want. So like even like for me, different path to pro. Like maybe they want to go to college, but they don't have any offers. So we're like, all right, listen, come play in Spain. It's gonna like, and you talk to colleges, they're gonna be like, oh, you're playing in Spain, 5th tier. It's gonna open their eyes essentially,
Yeah.
So kind of that
you kind of have.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a similar way like that. So it's and like vice versa, sending some players like from Spain or whatever to like these like summer leagues like here, like USL2 connections we have here. So there's obviously some like some money involved because like we're not gonna do it for free, reaching out and stuff. So we get profit, but like it's a win-win to get them opportunities. So we're like starting. It's like brand new. Mm-hmm. So I'm like my friends basically started it, and there's other people involved, but I'm like slowly getting involved. Like
that's nice.
Whatever. So I get on like consultation calls with them and kind of try to like sell it like. My experience, kind of like how we're talking. Yeah. Not this long, but a little bit about like my like how
a little shorter Germany. Background.
Exactly, stuff like that. Like, so I want to be involved in the game when I'm done like pursuing professional.
Yeah, for sure. And then, what kind of advice would you give? Say you have those kids that you coach, and you give like one little kid who's just like looks up to you, and he's just like, I want to be like what you did, or even better if I can, or like I want to take that path that you did, and I want to be the best soccer player I can be, and I want to go pro. Like, what kind of advice in today's world? Because today's world's a lot different than like when our parents grew up. Yeah. And when my dad grew up with professional indoor, My dad was a professional indoor player when he was younger. So yeah, he was sweet. He was playing the Chicago Sting back when it was the Chicago Sting.
My dad's badass. My dad was on the Cosmos.
Yeah,
so same league. That's badass.
Yeah. So so it's completely different from back then. Yeah. Even from like before 2021 with MLS Next.
Yeah.
Like completely different. So today with all your experience, all the things you've gone through from like all these teams that you've been on, semi-professional, professional teams over in Europe, and all these contracts, what kind of advice would you give to these kids? Say this kid's like 13, 12 years old and he's like, I want to do this. I want to go all in. Yeah. Like, what do I do in the next 4 or 5 years to get myself in a position to play pro?
Honestly, he needs to find a team that he's just playing at regularly. Like, obviously, ideally, you want to play at the highest level for youth soccer with the MLS Next, right? But you also need to be picky because at that age, playing time is more important than being on MLS Next team and not playing, right? So you need to go to a team where you're going to develop. Playing is the best form of development. I think that if he's going to MLS Next, let's say at U13, and he's not playing like at least 75% of the games, you're better off going to a good club team and playing like 90 minutes consistently because that's the best way to develop. So I would say just training like that, training on your own, but also don't get burnt out because a lot of people, they get burnt out. You need to have like a life outside the field too because if you're too locked in, then it's like, and things don't go wrong, it affects your mood, right? Because I was both. I was like too locked in. And I have a bad training, and then I'm like just in a bad mood. I'm mean to everyone, and then I had like you need a good balance, right? Mm-hmm. So I would be like, don't overwork, have your fun, and then, but also like if you can like play at the highest level for youth, do it.
Yeah.
Ideally, you like especially with like the MLS Next Pro, like if you can get into like a fire, if you're killing it with the U16, these 15, 16-year-olds are debuting MLS Next Pro.
Yeah.
Which is amazing because then like you have let's say. You have 20 pro appearances, then you're still eligible for college. Like, it opens up so many doors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
take advantage of the opportunity when you get it.
Yeah, take it.
But I think that's a good point, though, when you talked about, like, playing time. It's like, don't get suckered in to the whole name of the thing. If you're playing on the MLS Next Pro team, yes, good. You're playing. You're physically playing. Yeah. But if you're U12, U13, like you're at that age and you're not playing on this MLS Next team just because of the name, like you gotta go play.
You have to play. That's the most important.
If you're the star of it, say if you're the star of like an ECNL team or like an NPL 1 team, and you're like the guy and you're playing 90 minutes and you're like the star, that's gonna be way better for your development in like 2-3 years 100%. When you're U16. Yeah. So that when you get into that MLS Next team, you can go right in and actually get playing time rather than just sitting on the bench doing nothing.
Yeah, no, you need to like playing is the most important, 100%. Find it, but if you also want to find a good level team, because like it's like you don't
want to play in like Division 4.
Yeah, exactly, because like then it's too easy. You need to be pushed a little bit too. You need to be like, I think it's good to be in an environment that you're playing, but it also like you can't be too comfortable. Like this guys can come for your spot. You're not like a guaranteed starter,
I would probably say YSSL 1 and up is probably a really, really good level of competition. Yeah. Because even YSSL 1, you have some teams that are really good there. Yeah. Like people are always like, oh, but you're not ECNL. But like, dude, no, YSSL 1 is actually really good competition across the board. There's some players that are like ballers in there. Yeah, exactly. And then once you graduate that to like ECNL or like even the MPL leagues, if you're playing both, whatever, it's all anything above that. It's just great competition. Yeah. You're gonna get good touches, you're gonna get like good gameplay, you're gonna get good teams you play against. Like across the whole board. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
So yeah, just playing ultimately, like it's so easy to say, but it's really just playing and like as long as you're enjoying the game, like the game we play is because it's fun, right? Be creative, try things. Like a lot of people shy away. Like the game is becoming so systematic, but you also have to like stand out to go to the next level, right?
Gotta be creative.
You have to be, even if like you could play like 90% simple, but if you're in the final third, take a chance, take a risk. That I kind of fell victim to like as I started going to like the academies and stuff. Like with my club team, I would do all the risks. Like coach encouraged it, and then more recently, I started taking a little bit more risks. And even my coach last year, George, is like, he's like, you don't really lose the ball much. I keep pretty good possession. He's like, you're an attacker. Like I don't care if you lose an attacking third. Try a little bit more. Like it's not like I don't try things, but sometimes I definitely fall victim to like
just keep him. Like, possession, move the ball around.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why don't I just? And I look back at film like, why don't I just try taking them and like
take him out, just beat one guy and you could open up the whole game.
Yeah, just like doing more of that. Like don't shy away. Like you're gonna make mistakes. It's part of the game, and just like don't lose confidence if you like make those mistakes. Just stay That's the best thing I think.
Stay humble, get after it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
All
So
right,
that's the journey in about an hour and a half talk.
I love it, dude.
A lot of
I want to
details.
talk about one more thing too.
Yeah.
Before we get you out of here.
Yeah.
I want to talk about you and your modeling.
Oh
with
my
god.
god.
With the hymn.
Oh, the hymn one.
Dude,
oh,
it's
okay.
so sick.
Yeah.
And then any of your other stuff. So I had a buddy who wanted to ask you. He wanted to ask you if you do your best impression of the modeling of what's his name from Zoolander. If you got the face. It's Wilson and Affleck.
What face is it? I can't.
You don't know the face?
Nah. Is
Where
it
he,
like the?
It's not the Riz face.
Nah.
It's the one where he squints in and he does the kissy face. He's like,
no, I can't do it. I don't even know. So like that, yeah.
It's like I forget what it's called. The smiler.
It's like
it's some type of smolder face.
I always do like the F boy thing. Maybe like I kind of I kind of like put it to the side a little bit and kind of like bite down in them. I don't know. Like
I love it.
Something like that, like whatever. But not like the modeling thing. So it was my friend who's actually also a soccer player, David Prueba.
Okay.
He was he's with the Fire 2 though.
Fire 2?
I don't know if he's on the first. Yeah, he's with the Fire 2. He's like
the youth club or is it like second division?
No, he's with the Chicago Fire MLS Next Pro team.
Okay.
So it's also MLS Next Pro is also technically third tier of U.S. soccer as well.
Soccer, yeah.
Even though NISA is as well and USL 1, but it's all separate leagues.
Mm-hmm.
But he was the MVP of the league. He was MVP of the team. He had a crazy season.
He's a baller.
He's a baller. He made 3 bench appearances with the first team. Didn't get to debut, but he was like training with the first team all year. Like, he came from a team in Poland. Like he grew up here, played FC United, I think Fire Academy as well. And then went to Poland, played first tier Poland, which was crazy. And
awesome.
They went to like he was playing with Charlotte's second team last year, Crown Legacy, whatever. Mm-hmm. But anyways, he's the one who started the brand. Him and his friend, and they just like were posting.
So what's it called? It's called Him
Mentality, but it's like
Him
H
Mentality
with like the 1 and then M, like that's like the him and then mentality. Okay. And they just came up with the brand and everything and like posting videos and just kind of blew up. Like they were getting so many followers and like, let's make merch. So I was close with him. He's like, yo, like I want you to do like the photo shoot with us. So I did the photo shoot. It was cool. It was pretty fun. Like they had an actual photographer. Yeah.
Did you like figure out any model things? Did you like YouTube stuff or how did you
honestly no, he just
walked there and just like
we took so many photos at like the soccer field and then we went to like a parking garage. We were just like driving around. They had a camera, like the guy we were with, like a photographer. It's like this will look cool here. So we just did a bunch of photos. It was fun. And then I thought you were talking about the one in Atlanta. One of my teammates has his own brand. It's called Made It Happen, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he had like a legit because he used to play for Atlanta United. So in Atlanta, we used to call him Mr. Atlanta. So he has a lot of connects. It's funny. So he has a lot of connects out there. So yeah, he knew some modeling agency, whatever model. So we actually went there and did a legit shoot like in a modeling agency.
Like for what was that for?
For his brand.
Oh, for his brand. Okay.
The Made It Happen merch. And then we had like legit, like I don't remember what them. I have the card. Oh, it's my wallet in my car. But like it's legit like agency like not maybe like
a
50,
photography agency.
Yeah.
Or modeling
modeling agency. They got like thousands of followers and stuff. So it's pretty legit. They had the green screen. Everything was badass. So we did a shoot there and they had like models there too. Like they had me and then like 2 of the other teammates. And then he had like these girl models too and everything. Like, yo, this is lit. Yo, this is dope. And like,
did you talk to him, dude?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
So it's the him mentality.
Yeah, the him mentality. Yeah. So Made It Happen and him need to do a collab, but it was cool though. So we did a photo shoot out there, and yeah, that was a really cool experience too. Modeling's fun. One of my funny story. One of the teammates that did the modeling with us in Atlanta.
Yeah,
he's from New York and he's a legit model now. He's signed to like
so
a
he's
legit
like 100% model.
He like
so he
took
went from
off
soccer to modeling.
Yeah, he's still
pursuing full modeling.
Yeah, he like still pursuing professional soccer, but like he's like modeling like damn near full time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's still like because there's like nothing going on with soccer at the moment. Like all the US everything's basically done.
Yeah,
so he's like kind of training on his own and like modeling now. Like
that's wild.
He took off with it. It's a fun hobby for sure. Like. I mean, it's cool and all, but I don't know if it's for me.
So you kind of just gotta get into modeling by like having someone do some merch.
Kind of. That's the only way I got
branding, and then you just kind of get into it, and then like you just get calls from other people.
Yeah, I guess I think he was like genuinely like reaching out, because I think if you have like you do stuff like actual photos, you can like DM like agencies and they'll ask for like portfolio or whatever. Like send me pictures and like, oh, okay, you're cool, come in for a photo shoot, like a I don't really know how it works.
Have you done any other photo shoots?
No, I haven't. Just those two. Yeah.
Have you had anyone reach out?
No, nah. I'm trying to think.
Because that would be very interesting to see, like, if someone saw that on your profile and like reached out and was like,
I did have some, but I think it was like scammer accounts.
Yeah, one of
those. Nothing that really comes to mind and stuff like that.
If it ain't the blue check, you gotta delete it.
Right. Yeah. But no, yeah. So it was definitely fun. Like, I mean, I would be open to it, like in the future, maybe if it comes
some more him mentality.
Yeah, literally more. Any other brands that see that need one, Chicagoland area, I'm down.
Koutas show and get some.
Hey, honestly, your new merch, I'll do it. I'm down.
Right. I got you.
But yeah,
we'll get you in there.
So that's
sweet, dude.
So that's the journey, and like, damn, I went into detail though, but I mean, it's good. Yeah. So people that actually listen, they see like I probably left some stuff out that I forgot, but like. Majority of everything is like the journey is still going and see what happens,
well I appreciate you telling me the journey, dude, and I wish you the best, and hopefully we'll be screaming your name and singing your songs, and we'll be going nuts. I'll be flying out to Germany or
that'd be lit, bro.
Somewhere in the United States to watch you play.
They need another team here in Chicago, bro. They need a USL team at least here,
They need a USL team here.
MLS and like
you put a USL team here right in Schaumburg, and you're just gonna have so many people. You just put a tryout. And just have all local people that live here. You get
so much talent here too. So much talent. Like there's some players that I play in like these Hispanic leagues that like they are insane. There's no reason they can't play pro, but it's opportunity.
They don't play opportunity. They can't afford it.
Can't afford it. Just lack of opportunity in the U.S. It's just really difficult.
Here.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of factors to. There's some very good players that will never play pro that like just because of like external factors.
Yeah, it's tough.
So.
But I wish you best of luck, and
thank you, bro.
Dude, keep playing, keep kicking it, and we'll have you on once you get pro again. We'll have you come on a couple years, and we'll hear
hopefully
get
to a higher level. But until then, we just keep pushing and see what happens.
Yeah, dude, I love it. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Of course, bro. Thanks for having me, man.